Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
You should check out the 2 Hour Dude Bros.
2 Hour Chat Dude Bros.
We got 2 Hour Dude Bros.
2 Hour Dude Bros.
Whoa! 2 Hour Chat Dude Bros.
2 Hour Dude Bros.
2 Hour Dude Bros.
The 2 Hour Dude Bros changed my life.
I see some of your comments, bunch of smart asses. Anyway, it's Sunday. It's TGIS, and I'm back, baby, on a Sunday night. It's a special occasion. As you can see by my attire, we're going to be discussing Patriot Force. I know a lot of people have been asking, what's Patriot Force? Hey, I've heard a lot of people talk about it. Hey, do you know anything about it, Chad? And I do. So we got Ryan and Gavin with us tonight, and we're going to be discussing all things Patriot Force. And these guys are they're going to be asking questions of people in the chat. So if you want to get some skin in the game, glad you're here with us. And right off the bat, Mikey's first. This is how we do it. Whoever that is, I don't know who that is. So like Belle Biv DeVoe or somebody, I don't know. Yeah. But it's good to see a lot of awesome people and bro dudes, 2 hour broing. We're broing down. Broeth Davenport is here and says, what's up, dudes, to the Broeths? 49er Brian. Screaming, nonetheless. I can't get over Bobby Valla tearing up Lenny from Hasbro last night. Did you see that, Chad? I have not. So, obviously, I was asked to be on 3POA with Ryan and the guys, and I said yes. This was at the beginning of the week. I had also forgotten that the ma'am had booked kind of a getaway for the two of us. So I can't be in two places at once, and life, family always comes first, and Ryan understood. So, and then this is what I was laughing at, because Greg said, oh, sure, Chad shows up for his show tonight, but not last night. It wasn't intentional. And you know what? Life goes on. You had 3 powerhouse guys hanging out last night. You didn't need me. Apparently you didn't need my rat tail either. Anyway, whatever. We're going to be good to go. Soul Brother number 1, good to see you. Says, what's happening, brethren? You're looking at it. Bear 11 Charlie, good to see you. Keith Coleman says, sup, dude, bros. Sup, bros. Kentucky Inbred said this is your first live stream in about 3 or 4 weeks going through withdrawals. Glad you're here. Sorry I haven't been live streaming on Sundays lately, but, again, it's called a work-life balance. Now, this isn't work, right? This is something I love to do, but I still have to have the balance like everybody else. Bro, dude, chat, bro. Princeton Phalanx, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Gerard O'Connor, Eric Teixeira. Oh, by the way, we're under a flood alert So my Joe room's been flooding. I've been moving boxes out of the way. A couple of them got wet. Oops. And I've got towels down all over the place. Hail, thunder, lightning, the whole 9 yards, here in the desert. Doesn't like it. So as long as the power holds, we're here. If the power goes out, you're just, and that's going to be it. So we're all in this together. Takes a village. And we'll get through it. So Nico Tronus, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Thanks for being here, Northern Nomad. Andrew M says, at Patriot Force, more Marpat. I might have a fancy little PowerPoint that we're going to look at. Crusty Old Crow. Easy first question. Will Patriot Force be a Joe Fest participant, and on what level? Yeah, because they've been there before. And you know what? I already started. We'll bring it up as soon as I get Ryan and Gavin on screen. Just another Anderson. Got that right. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, Justin Booth. Good to see you too. Again, 49er Brian freaking screaming at me. That's cool. Terry's here. Skyfall's here. Logic Blaster. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see all you fine people. Alex S is here. Hope you're all well. Greetings. Greetings to you. Jeff's in the house. Jeff W. Dude, thank you for the $5 super chat right off the bat. I don't know if you guys can hear the thunder, but it's rocking and rolling here. Jeff W., best mullet in the business, with a $5 super chat, says, hey, Chad and my fellow dude bros. Got about an hour to hang before heading to the pub with my other dude bros for a bro burger and beers for my birthday. Dude, happy birthday. Everybody wish Jeff W. a happy birthday, please, or you're a shitbag. I can say that. Jeff, thank you so much. If you have questions for Patriot Force, Jeff, throw them in the chat, and I will make sure we get to yours before you got a boogie, man. So, yeah, let me know. Oh, yeah, and Boog invented floats. Boog invented everything. Boog didn't invent me, though, right? Because I'm a Chad, so, yeah. Ken's Toys, Mython the Python, one of my good friends and an awesome wrench. White Vegeta Masterson 42 gets a crisp salute. If I speak, I won't have much positivity to say about Patriot Force. Why? So not sure if I will speak. Then don't. I don't know. I mean, you can ask them questions, dude. If you want to ask them questions, just remember, right? I don't. Is it because of the guys that they chose? Just be cool about it, man. Kentucky Inbred, work is why I haven't been able to attend. Work sucks. Sorry to hear that, dude. Crusty Old Crow said, remember, Night Raven can be used as a flotation device, but you got to get on the main level. I'll just throw some pool noodles on my flag and float away. We'll be all right. It's all good. Everybody's saying happy birthday, happy birthday. Oh, you're all such nice people. Analog Toys, what's up, Tony? Good to see you. Says, what's up, 2 hour dude bros? Broing down. Are you still on vacation, and how was your vacation? Glad to see you. Thanks for being here. JLS Comics is in the house. Good to see you too, Jesse. Thanks for being here. Logic Blaster Chad, can you build a 1/18 scale arc to save your Joes from the flood? I just have a lot of towels down on the floor, man, because that's one of the downfalls of having your Joe room in a garage, right? Because the weather hits the garage door, it kind of comes inside. Whatever, it is what it is. They're toys, they'll live. Cruising through. J-Mac, what's up, brother? Says, what's up? Hope it was a good night last night. We had a great time. We had a good time. Obviously, I'm a little sad that I didn't get in on the Brodown Fest, and I still haven't watched it, but I'm gonna. Trust me, I'm gonna. But yeah, that's gonna happen. Just Jeff says Boog invented Italian stereotypes. Wasn't that Mario? Wasn't that Shigeru Miyamoto? Yeah, I think the Italian stereotypes kind of started with Mario. Nah, they were around way longer. Oh, yeah. And then see, DJ Bill says it's because there's no Air Force. I don't know. Maybe we can ask the guys from Patriot Force if they're going to do somebody from the Air Force. I don't know. I just kind of want to get through this. Tony says, just got home last night. The trip was amazing. That's fantastic. I'm glad you guys had a good time. Really, really cool. Everybody deserves a little decompression time, right? Just Jeff, for all you talking about Chad's rat tail, he's rocking the Picard, folks. I do not have a Picard. I have hair. And I don't have a skullet either. Anyway. Jeff W is looking forward to seeing everybody at or at DFW. Dude, we're going to have a blast, man. Jerkmonger wants to be a dude bro. Where do I fill out you're already a dude bro, right? You're a total dude bro and a channel member. So you're double dude bro. Robert's Infinite Realms is here. Good to see you, Robert. Thanks for being here. And then Mython says, there's no cool operators in the Air Force. They just sit in air conditioning all day. They got the TAC Ps, but I mean, they're, whatever. If they're the pinnacle of the Air Force, then whatever. Chad, do you have a peninsula? Well, I don't have any diapers. So, you know how it is. Anyway. Greg says Mython versus Masterson. Ready, fight. Nobody's fighting here. It ain't going to happen. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start bringing in our special guests tonight so we can ask some questions. Try to be value added with your questions, if you know what I'm saying. And we're going to have a good time. Ryan, you're muted. How are you? There you go.
Hey, how we doing?
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
Doing well, thank you. Thanks for bringing us on.
Awesome. And then we're going to bring in Gavin. Let's see, what am I going to play for Gavin? Gavin's going to get... Yeah. How are you, Gavin?
I'm doing good. How are
Awesome.
you?
I'm good. It's good to see you guys. Thanks for coming on the show. Anybody who has questions, again, like I said, throw them up in the chat. Chad needs a moderator. I have moderators. There's one right there. Anyway. So, Patriot Force, right off the bat. So somebody asked if you guys were going to be at Joe Fest. Obviously, you were there last year because we hung out. So, are you going to be at Joe Fest this year?
Yep, we will. Sorry. And by the way, if I talk over Gavin, because I tend to talk a lot, just shut me up and we'll let him chime in.
No.
We're going to be there. We're actually going to be next to Invincible Toys. Landon Stewart, actually, if you've heard of his company, he actually lives nearby us, about 20 minutes away. And then Fist, Esteban. So one of our original sculptors was Esteban from Fist. And then once he got busier with his line, we moved on and we had a couple other people help out.
Awesome. So the answer is, yeah, you will be there.
We will, yeah. Long answer to a short question.
No, it's perfect. Step aside, I'll moderate. No, we're not going to do that. Northern Nomad, thank you for renewing your channel membership. I think that's a renewal, but thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Totally appreciate it. At Patriot Force, more Marines, please.
We actually have several Marines. We don't have the mock-ups done. Actually, Chad, I just messaged you one of them. It's not in our PowerPoint, but we do have, I saw someone ask about Marpat. We do have a Marine in Marpat.
Cool.
We'll probably have more, but we have one mock-up that actually we're going to post soon.
I love it. And I'm starring stuff. So anybody, you guys can just put Patriot Force or whatever, but I'm trying to eyeball the chat as we go. So we're definitely going to go through it. Gavin, this is a question for you. Some of us know the answer. J-Mac is asking, what scale is Patriot Force?
It's 6-inch or like 6.5 inch. And we are doing Air Force, people. I saw one of them was asking.
There you go. See, look at that. Already dropping bombs. What does that have to do with anything? Oh, and then JMax says, oh, cool, the Lord's scale. No. What? We know what the Lord's scale is. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Well, okay, so let's talk about it. Ryan, you and I discussed it. Why did you guys decide 1/12? Did you hear that?
Yeah, actually, that is it's still one of those that eats at me because I grew up with the 1/18 scale. I passed a lot of those along to my boys. Gavin, that's what he had too when he was younger. It really came down to where the market's going right now. And by the way, we do still want to do 1/18 scale. We're just going to start, try our hand at 1/12 scale first. I know I've talked to Chad about this. World building, different toys we have here, like the vehicles, they're all 1/18 scale. I've done dioramas, all 1/18 scale. So we want to do that. But right now, if you go anywhere, Target, Walmart, anywhere, you typically see the 6-inch figures. And so that's why we thought, all right, if that's where the market is trending right now, and again, it's kind of a shot in the dark, right? It can change. You never know. But that's what we're going to do now.
And that's totally understandable. I mean, the trends of the boys' action toy aisles and things like that is going 6 inches. Bobby Val and I are good friends. He's got a lot of 3 3/4 stuff. He went 6 inches. He's said numerous times he's not going to go 1/18 scale. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's totally cool. And you can have both. A lot of people have both. It's totally sweet.
You got to be careful that you don't want to eat yourself. And that's kind of why we thought, all right, let's pick one right now.
Yeah.
And then if it works out, we'll be able to do, the other line too.
Yep. Well, my good friend Yojo Jerk is in the house. So now everybody's going to leave. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Okay. So I got a few questions for you guys already. I'm going to bounce around with these questions because some sort of lead into another. So obviously this one was already answered, right? So you guys will be at Joe Fest again. Yep. And you were there last year. You guys were right by Sergeant Slaughter and Marauder Gun Runners. You were right there.
This will be your what year, Gavin? Third, fourth?
Third or fourth.
I think this will be our
You were definitely there in 22 and 23.
Yeah, so this will be our fourth year, actually.
Cool. Mikey from JMK Custom Works says, so stoked to have these gents. I wish I could have gotten you guys that paint sample in time for Joe Fest. What's he talking about?
Yeah, so actually I saw his page and he had an awesome tiger stripe camo. And so I was like, dude, we have one of those. We need one. So
Lieutenant Falco.
Yeah, I reached out to him. He just was pretty busy with I think his dad's stuff, or his and his dad's stuff, sorry. And he's also going to DFW. So the time frame I asked him for just wasn't going to work. So hopefully down the road we can do that.
Nice. Pardon me. Chris from Cutthroat Comics and a few others have already asked, I'd like to know what Patriot Force is all about. Ryan and Gavin, that's my question. And then Gerard O'Connor asked the same thing. Please enlighten me in regards to Patriot Force. I'm out of the loop. So one thing I will say before I hand it over to you guys, take as long as you want to answer this question. All of the links to Patriot Force are in the description of this live stream. If you go to their website, there's a really nice write-up about it, but I'm going to let you guys verbalize what's going on.
Gavin, do you want to start? How we got kicked off when the schools decided to keep us home?
Yeah, and then I don't know how, but we ended up coming up with like wanting to make figures of veterans because they're not like getting enough, kind of, I guess, back. So we wanted to make figures and donate back to them, to their organizations, to help people. Yeah.
That's kind of the gist of it, or where it's ended up. Actually, it started, I shouldn't say I raised my kids right. I raised them on a lot of the same stuff I had, the Star Wars, the G.I. Joe. And when he was younger, he always wanted to army build just his own figures. And it was mainly clone troopers, I think stormtroopers. He liked the guys with the armor versus when I was a kid, I liked the Jedi, the other side. But we started out doing that, and then we wanted to mix like military. He always had a thing for the military when he was younger, and military, and then Star Wars. And then really we thought, what's something else fun we could do? And we thought about, actually, we saw this guy Spartan 118 on Etsy. He had a Trump head and an Obama head. Yep. So we got those. We
thought, Spartan 118 Industries.
Yeah. So we thought, all right, what can we do with these two heads? A guy who did an art design for me said, I said, we'll maybe put them on a military body. And I said, is it kind of a joke is what it started out. Right. And especially because those two hadn't served. And so we did Trump. And obviously, when you're doing that, you're going to have a very love-hate. So you had one side that loved it. And I put it on eBay. and couldn't believe it. It was blown up sale. I think the bidding got up to like $2,000. They thought it was a one of a kind. So I was canceling bids like crazy. And I was like, hold on, people, this isn't anything special. It may have still sold for $400 or $500. And I told Gavin, like, man, I said, maybe this will be fun. And I had put out there that, hey, we want to do Obama. We want to do other presidents too. And someone messaged me and said, hey, I just want you to know the audience that targeted with that Trump may not like it. If you do that, I'd hold off. And I thought, all right, let's just see what happens. So we did just go with the Trump for a while, and then we went and did the older presidents. But Eddie Gallagher's story had happened. I don't know if people are familiar with him. He was a Navy SEAL accused of murdering an ISIS fighter after they captured him. I'm very unpolitical. I know that's hard to believe in this day and age. I look more at principle compared to party. I'm not a fan of either party. But it blew up. Trump had tweeted something about let this guy out of jail. And then so the news media really the side that doesn't care for Trump ran with it and just really chastised the guy. And so I started looking into it. And at first I thought, God, this guy, yeah, he's no good. The very first thing I heard was that they captured this fighter. And sorry, I don't want to get in the weeds too much, but they captured this fighter and said immediately over the microphone that he yelled into, he's mine. And then he went up to him and started immediately stabbing this guy. And then once I started doing research on the videos, that's not what happened at all. I thought, gosh, dang, there's got to be more to this. I saw all the interviews of all these people, and you realize the truth is probably in the gray area. But it kind of pissed me off that these guys who had no business discussing his case, who were giving their 2 cents, were really putting him down, I guess you'd say. So we thought, let's do something for these guys who served. And then so Eddie Gallagher was one of the first ones we started with. Actually, he was the reason, we started doing veterans. And then we started looking into who else can we do that could benefit from this. And it was, there's no secret sauce, I say, but it was guys who were fathers, guys who after they served were giving back. Eddie's spending all his time now giving back to his organization. And same with everybody we pick now, they're really involved. So that's what it is. There's thousands of worthy people. So it's like, who is giving back now? Who are fathers? Who can we do? So again, long-winded answer. I apologize for people listening, but
that's a great answer.
Kind of where we are now.
So would you say that also falls under what inspired you guys?
Yep.
Yeah, I would say so. And especially, we met some of these guys. We met Eddie, and no one, actually him, never asked for a dime, nothing. It's more just the opposite. He's like, hey, yeah, here's my organization. Donate, all this money to it. And I think I had even messaged him and offered, and just, nope, he didn't want anything. And so he actually was one of the first people that shared it and helped, blow up. And so again, we're thankful to them, and we want to reciprocate too.
I don't even know if I want to highlight that. Brad, I see your question. Anyway, let's move on, shall we?
Good or bad, by the way. We love the criticism. We want to know what people think and what we can do to make it better. Yeah.
Right. And that's, there's constructive criticism, right? And then there's just shitting on stuff. Constructive criticism it should always be welcomed. Always.
But, what? I also know the territory we treaded into at the president's. I mean, I've had a lot of nasty messages through people call me a faux patriot, and I kind of chuckle. I'm like, you're right. I mean, I'm not a patriot. That's not what this is for. And I told Chad, I said, to me, the patriots are the people that served, not guys like myself who are just online. So that's why we're doing it, or that's why we named it Patriot Force.
And obviously with someone like even Masterson's a nice guy. He's a great guy, right? He's a vet. I love him to death. He's an Air Force vet, but he has opinions. Like there's going to be opinions, especially in a line like this. There's some people who are maybe polarizing, but I'm here for it. So whatever, it's all good, So here you go. Matt Rubin is asking, will Patriot Force be a Kickstarter or retailer exclusive?
What we're doing, Gavin. Yeah.
It will be a Kickstarter. We don't really have a date yet.
We thought June 22nd. I was telling you earlier, Chad, we had a lot more people that we want to do mock-ups for that just weren't going to be done in time. Plus, we've had a CGI video we've had working on for months now, and just the time it takes for them to get the likeness right of these guys, that has kind of bled over longer than we thought. So if you look at like the G.I. Joe intro video, that 1 minute, we're doing something a little bit. I mean, it's going to be a little bit cheesy, right? But it's supposed to be grittier than the G.I. Joe.
Sure.
we don't have music for it yet, so there's just more we wanted to do. And again, we don't want this to go past summertime, so that may happen later on. But then we also have individual CGI videos for everybody that we want to launch.
All this bullshit. Deploy the Chad army. Would Chad be the army builder? Daredevil Dave trying to find a head sculpt of my likeness. I've heard one of the Xavier heads works pretty well. Aaron Nichols says, you are honoring veterans in an awesome way. I think that is priceless and very awesome. There you go.
Right on.
Cool. Here's a question. Slam God is asking, will there be 6-inch versions of Presidents?
Without getting ahead of ourselves, yeah, we have a pretty lofty business plan, kind of that 5,000-foot view. Yes, we want to do Presidents, original versions. We have mock-ups, actually, not mock-ups. We have sculpts of a lot of the heads. It's one of those where we got to walk before we run, so we want to make sure this takes off and does well, and we can actually give quality figures. Because I think sometimes the Kickstarter is the easier part, but we've seen a lot of these companies because supply chain issues or factories not having workers that it's just dragged out for quite a while. A little bit different, actually, I'll say here is we're not going to be in China. Our plan is actually to be in South America. So we're going to hopefully deal or get rid of some of those supply chain issues, but at the same time, we have to make sure our feedback to the factory is on point and make sure they have quality figures. But if you check out the Fist figures at GoFest, they're going to be made in the same factory.
Cool. Yeah, and I know a lot of people are really stoked for the Fist stuff. Conrad Hauser, MD, also known as Dr. Duke, is here and says, yo, Joe, thank you, gents, for bringing real-life Patriots to the fellowship. So I thought that was cool. And then Slam God said, hell yeah, take my money. Very cool. Frostbite G.I. Joe Repro is here. Good to see you, my man. Thanks for being here. Okay, so a bunch of other awesome questions came in. I starred them all. We'll get to them. Krusty Old Crow, good guy from Canada. Is it safe for me to assume you won't have any allied nations in Patriot Force? No Canadian characters due to make an appearance asking for me? Good question.
So actually, we do want to. We want to do allied forces.
Actually.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to.
That's all right. Hit me up. So actually, again, I'm going to repeat myself here. Canadian sniper team that set the world record. There's a couple of those guys. And if anybody knows the story behind that, they don't really know who did it, who made the shot, because they took multiple shots. But Travis, and his last name is kind of slipping me right now, but he was on the team, and now he's actually on the Instagram doing his, I think, on songwriting, and he's busy there. So he's one of them we're keeping an eye on. Yeah, by the way, I saw you have the shirt on. Thank you. I didn't notice that earlier.
I wear them all the time.
Right on. Thanks.
But yeah, shirts are fantastic. I love them. They fit great. Yeah.
I think Gavin's wearing our Goon Squad shirt. That's been out for a few years. And
Yeah, really.
Yeah, Gavin, get up. Oh yeah, Coons.
look like you're showing something else.
I did a stream with Not Top Goon, and his whole shtick is he wears like a ski mask, and I literally titled it "Moon's Out, Goons Out." Right?
Did you?
If you know, because we love to do raids at night, baby.
Well, I think our aspirations might be, again, way down the road, but Goon Squad is one of them that we aspire to do. And Wes Whitlock, former Marine, he owns Rogue One. He has a coffee line called Invader Coffee, and he has a Goon Squad on there too. So it's been a couple of years, but we'd messaged about doing a line for those.
Awesome. So we answered the question, will it be a Kickstarter or retailer exclusive? And do you want to give any kind of a loose time frame? Because you and I talked about it on the phone before we went live about, I know we're going to look at some slides, right? So.
Yep, you bet. Yeah. The goal is before the end of the summer. We had originally said June 22nd, but our first time doing this, we realized that we want to make sure we have a lot more lined up before we launch.
Awesome. Very cool. Just Jeff asks, will you be doing people from the alphabet agencies? I paraphrase.
Not the ATF.
Not the ATF. No.
We have Clint Emerson. I believe he's on the slide. He's former DevGru, SEAL Team 6, who crossed over to be part of the NSA doing the clandestine missions, and unbelievable. We actually went to the Spy Museum in DC. If anybody's been there, they had masks up.
Masks. Yeah.
They call them a 5-second mask, and where they would literally have to slip them on and be another person in 5 seconds. And one of the pictures you'll see, he showed me that he walked into a hotel. He said a single white guy walked out, a black guy with a white girlfriend. And he said he fooled a 22-man FBI surveillance team. So I think I put that picture on there, which cracks me up because you can see at the bottom of the mask where the skin didn't go all the way down. So it's very Mission Impossible, but real life.
Right. It's just not draw attention, right? Kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So there's your answer, Jeff. Bear 11 Charlie, good friend. He's a mortarman in the infantry. Will you be doing a figure of Sergeant First Class Jared Monty killed in action 2006?
Yeah. What's our thoughts on people who?
We have to be careful with those who passed during service.
Yeah, anybody who was killed, we want to be careful. Quick backstory: I did a stint with Arizona Cardinals right as Pat Tillman was leaving, so I didn't work with him. I worked with the next team, but everybody talked about him very glowingly. So when we first did this, I was like, "Man, we got to add Pat Tillman." Everybody I'd reached out to for this were great. I had reached out to Pat's widow and also the foundation. I called a phone number I Googled, and it wasn't. It didn't make it there. Shame on me, and kind of a lesson learned. You teach your kids is make sure you do it right. But I thought, yeah, let's go ahead. Everybody else liked it, no problem. We'll do him. The problem was we did an artwork, and it was everybody for the original Wave 1, and included Trump in the background. So it was kind of like a Knights of the Round Table, but we call it Patriots of the Round Table. Purposely left the president off in the background, so that way it looked like he wasn't truly one of those at the table. Right. And it blew up on Twitter. Actually, good or bad. We sold a ton of figures, but on Twitter, there's a page that had I think a 250,000 followers that hated it and just trashed it. And that's where some of our nasty Instagram comments started coming. How everybody said, "Well, Pat would have hated these guys. He never would have done it." Good and bad. Again, the CEO of the foundation reached out. We told him we would pull it. Fortunately, before any of that blew up, I'd already donated 100% of the profit to the foundation. And then another guy who knew Pat, actually two guys, one we met personally who loved it. But another guy who reached out and said, "Man, don't worry about these people's comments. Like, Pat was an awesome dude. He would have loved this. But at the same time, it's the family's wishes, and we want to make sure we honor that." So
yeah,
again, anybody who's been killed in action, no problem. But we want to make sure the family, is good with it.
Yeah, that's the thing with likeness and names, and they're not around, and there's emotions involved in that too, right? Mm-hmm. Some people see it as honoring them, and some people don't, right? You're always, again, you're going to have the ups and downs no matter what. So yeah, it's definitely a slippery slope, and I can totally understand.
Well, and I know our thoughts aren't out there, right? It was always about honoring the veterans. We were going to do Presidents for Parity. Actually, there's a kind of different storybook line. We've worked with someone on that. Again, it's to make fun of them in a way, right. But people can't see that. They think, we're probably hard right wingers because we have a Trump, and that's just not.
But 49er Brian says, if you do the Gipper, I'm sold.
We have the artwork done. He'd been requested heavily. There's a guy locally who wants all the presidents.
G.I. Joe came this close to doing Ronald Reagan.
I remember that, but no, we have not done. We actually have the head sculpt done, but no artwork. I was working on an artwork actually in a suit, kind of like the Scarface theme, but then have a kid on. So that was kind of the thought at the time.
Dig it. Awesome. There were a couple others. Action Joe Figs, good to see you. Thanks for being here. And then Kentucky Inbred said, I just scanned the Patriot Force website. Very interesting on gearing on actual service members. Yeah, because G.I. Joe did Sergeant Slaughter, right? And he became the best brand ambassador they could have ever hoped for to have him. Action Force, Bobby Vala's Action Force honored Tony from Analog Toys, made him a new version of the Desert Rat, which fits perfectly. It honors Tony. It honors the lineage of Desert Rat and the Palatoy Action Force. And so that's cool. And you guys you're taking that, but you're just grounding your entire line in real service members, which correct me if I'm wrong, I've never seen that before, ever.
I
and that's what turned me on to you guys, like 2 years ago when I first talked to you, and then last year even more.
Yeah, and by the way, people who don't know, Bobby did Tim Kennedy also, and so
That's
I
right.
think,
I'm sorry, he did. He
Yeah.
did do Tim Kennedy.
so the first 2 figures I
Duster.
purchased of his was
Yeah, he did do Duster.
at Joe Fest a couple years ago. We bought a Deseret and then had Tony sign it. So we got that one, and then we got Tim Kennedy, and then I think since then we have a few of the Swarm, maybe of his. So
That's right. Yeah. Thank you for correcting me on the Tim Kennedy. I don't know why I forgot Duster, but Action Joe Figs, yes, I will be at DFW. I will be there. 100%. Crusty Old Crow said, not every family would be prepared to see their fallen fathers or sons interpreted as a toy, even with best intentions. Cool idea, though.
yeah, you're right.
James Lucas wants George Washington.
He's top of my list. If I could pick and just do it, yeah, he would be up there. What about a Jesse Ventura? Have not gotten past Afghan-Iraq war. So OEF is where the focus is. Yeah, if everything takes off well, we want to do Vietnam, because he was one of the original UDT guys, I believe. Not original, that was World War II, but Vietnam, before they were SEALs, he was one of them. So that would be cool,
Gavin, close your eyes for a second. What about Slick Willie with a Monica Lewinsky accessory?
If we did presidents, I don't know. That might be.
Sorry,
So here, I'll let everybody know. Nothing is finalized, but there's this guy, Jason. If you look on Etsy, he does Sharpwriter. He is the one who's done all those presidential artworks. Him and I have had a few phone calls, and we would love to do something together. So if anybody knows, he has this artwork that's kind of world famous now. With I'm trying to think, it has I believe Monica Lewinsky is at Clinton's leg. He has a joint in his mouth, but it shows the smoke going out. And Jason said, well, that's because he said he didn't inhale. So the smoke.
Yeah.
If you look at all of his presidential artworks, I mean, they're crazy. The more you look at it, you can study these things a half hour, and you'll find more items pop up on there. But if you check him out on Etsy, Sharpwriter, I think his stuff gets stolen quite a bit. I saw it on Jimmy Fallon once as an apron, but or he shared that. But yeah, he's a good dude. So we'd like to do something with him.
Gotcha. Yeah, you had kind of already answered this, but I always prided myself in the fact that I give everybody their moment, their voice, right? I always throw their comments up. So I'm just going to chuck it up. And you did say for right now, you're looking at OEF, OIF, right? Because you're talking the past 23 years. So yeah,
there's a lot.
Very ingrained in our memories, but what about?
You bet.
Tuskegee Airmen.
Yeah, would love to do them. My grandfather actually flew P-47s in World War II.
Rad.
He was a pilot, and so actually I have a bunch of 12-inch figures, and I had those Tuskegee. I think it's a GI Joe put it out, but I have one of those red tail guys.
Yep, the GI Joe Sergeant Savage.
Yep.
P-40 Warhawk. Yeah.
And Gavin's huge. Well, they had a P-51, the red tail is one that I have that they flew, but Gavin is big into World War II. He watches about anything he can get. And I'm trying to think. I think we said after this, he said, let's jump right to World War II. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves if everything goes well. And I said, well, why don't we, we'll check feedback. We have to listen to the people actually buying these to see what they want. But no, we're both, big into World War II.
Well, and the thing with doing a line, Patriot Force, where you're centering the whole line around, obviously the KIAs and things like that, the ultimate sacrifice ones is kind of hard, but there's a lot of people who served, and they did amazing things in Nam, World War II, all these conflicts. When I was an instructor at the Sergeant's Major Academy on Fort Bliss, we used to, one of the evaluations that students would have to do is they would have to basically do a presentation on someone. They won the Medal of Honor, they did this, they did that, the first female Silver Star in OIF, she was an MP, and just a lot of cool stuff that's out there that a lot of people really don't know about, just unaware, because news media doesn't like to pick it up.
And we get requests often, and the biggest thing I say is, like, there's thousands of worthy people. How do you narrow it down? And that's why, again, I mean, whatever that sauce is, we want people who are giving back afterward. We've done a couple politicians, mainly because we live in Florida. We did DeSantis. He was a big request when we'd hit a lot of local shows. But he's, we want to stay away from politicians for the most part. We did,
because DeSantis is polarizing too. You love him or you completely dislike him. But whatever. I don't live in Florida, so I don't care.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, he was a hit down here.
Big time. Yeah. Crusty Old Crow's asking something about Bob Ross, but obviously Bob Ross's likeness is just a nightmare. So
yeah, I don't remember. Was he Marine? What was Bob?
I don't know. I do not know. I just know that he served. So
yeah,
somebody can Google it. Whatever. Yeah.
Who did we do? We did a Green Beret. Cracked me up. Sean. Who was it? He actually did a video, and he goes by Sean Rogers. Yeah, he goes by Buck. And if you can look up out there, he does a Bob Ross video. It's pretty funny, but he did a painting, I think, that sold quite a bit. He said he donated the money. So
very cool. Justin Booth, I just saw the rough draft of your 1/12 scale figures. They look amazing. I can't wait to see the finished product. Crusty Old Crow said, I heard Bob Ross was a Huey pilot. Andrew M says Bob Ross was Air Force.
Air Force, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Air Force, all right.
Ira Hamilton Hayes, United States Marine Corps. I don't know who that is. I probably have to look it up.
Sounds familiar, but I don't know. Is he newer? Is he since 2000?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Brad, put it in the chat. Oh, Eric, Chad, YouTube only lets me send 150 characters. I know. I had a question, but it got so long. My question is for later. You can throw it in 2 parts, Eric, or whatever. I'll grab both parts, dude. Oh, raise the flag at Iwo Jima.
Yeah,
on the drain pipe.
Which one, right? The first raising the flag.
The first one, or the fake, the fake one. Right? Yeah. Chris from Cutthroat. Question: my grandfather was a Pearl Harbor survivor. Can you make a custom in memory of my grandfather and his likeness on a Navy Action Patriot Force figure?
We would love to, but customs are on hold for a bit while we finish this up, which is unfortunate because we get that a lot. Same thing. Actually, I have one more we said we'd do for a dad. A guy is going to do it for his dad, but
cool.
We have quite a few, and actually Joel, the guy who's been doing most of our head sculpts, that's why I told him. I said, I'll probably just send people to you and let him get the business and do the head. I mean, we passed it on. I mean, if anybody who's on here say how much they paid for custom. I mean, we mark it up really just for Gavin's time doing the paint work and then shipping. That's about it. So
right, understandable. Okay, J Mac is asking. Well, saying Clint Emerson looks good. How much articulation do they have? Is that in the slides?
Yep.
Yeah, his is a different body.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
His will be a little bit different. It'll have the same articulation, but actually, no, I'm sorry. His has removable articles. We have some insurgents where we're going to go more for the look, I think, than articulation. They all have the butterfly joints, but when you look at the torso movement, once they get all that clothing on, it will be harder to pose, I think, some of the insurgents. They can do the AK above the head. That's what we want to make sure. So
nice. Mm-hmm. Very cool. I'm starting to see the beginning of Eric's question. Sorry, I'm just looking to make sure. Oh, yeah, first part.
Hey, one thing back by the guy who asked about the World War II multi-pack, that's big on our radar. We want to do, and I think we've advertised about it.
Yeah, that was Mython the Python, I believe. Yeah,
we would like to do them like based upon operations, like Operation Neptune Spear or Operation Gothic Serpent. We have talked about doing multi-packs that way.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, while other questions are coming in, let's get to some that I already have. So, I have to read this. This is a super chat. I have to read this. I'm contractually obligated, and this guy's my friend. Obviously, it's kind of a joke question, right? But I'm going to read it. Mython the Python, my good friend with a $5 super chat. So this is how he knows, like, I can't ignore the question. When will we be able to purchase an It's Chad, Masterson, and Bear 11 Charlie action figure from Patriot Force?
I don't know. We have not been asked that. And truth be told, Chad's never asked us for one either. I don't know who Master Son or Bear 11 Charlie is.
Yeah, they're friends of ours. They're in the chat.
Okay. I recognize a lot of these names because I'll get on and just listen to your show sometime. But
there's your answer, Mython. Love you, prick. Anyway, moving on. Greg is asking. Oh wait, CubeTube has selected an existing headset for Action Farce. I'm sorry. Yep, as you were.
Farce, yeah.
Yeah, Action Farce. So Cutthroat is asking, my next question for Ryan and or Gavin, will you do customs? Oh, you already answered that, right? So you're probably going to send them.
Yeah, but I think he may be asking a different way. So if we're successful, if we actually have figures, yeah, I talked to Joel. Anybody who wants to do custom, we'll just send them to him because that way he'll have all the specifications they can do. And actually, I don't know if you know Renee from hardtofindtoys.net. He was at Joe Fest a couple of years. We met him. He's the veteran. He's the one who introduced us to Joel.
Nice, cool. George Aiken's here all the way from the UK. Good to see you, George. George Aiken is a very awesome guy. He has a fantastic collection of Palatoy Action Force, and he is a James Bond. He's a James Bond villain.
So we actually already have a custom SBS done. If you know who Dean Stott is, he's one who we've worked with. And if we are able to do a series 2, right, if this is all good, we're going to go on and do partner forces, and Dean will be one of those. So other SAS. You know.
Someone asked about SAS. I already highlighted it.
Okay.
There's some questions I'm going to get to that you're actually already touching on. J-Mac, just ask Chad if he's cool with you. You know what, man? Anyway. Okay. I'm trying to bounce back and forth, so it's a little bit of handiwork. How many questions have you gotten about this guy? Oh, here we go.
Well, no, I just want to show. Whenever I see these videos, I see people behind them with this huge, toy wall. I don't have that, right? I have. Gee, I don't know. I probably have a couple hundred figures, but one of my prized possessions is a 12-inch Chris Kyle right here. So I don't know if anybody's ever seen this from Black Ops Toys.
No.
I only brought it here to show because they're remaking it. This one they sold out of a few years ago, but Brian over there, actually, they're relaunching Chris Kyle. If you're looking for just a Chris Kyle figure, they're going to do a 12-inch. Go to Black Ops Toys. But yeah, we'd love to do Chris Kyle. We have not had any conversations with the attorney for their foundation yet, but he's definitely someone we'd want to do.
Brad, there you go. There's your answer, 49er Brian. Gerard O'Connor, not too intrusive, I hope, but which of you guys have which skill set, i.e. design, sculpting, etc.?
So for the actual handiwork of the production, we don't do any of the designing. I'm more I guess we're more the executive team, but when it comes to artwork, we hire some artwork out, do some of it. Gavin, if you look at our custom paint job, he's done probably 95% of the painting that if anybody buys a custom. And then probably when it comes to the figure mock-ups, probably the same thing. But I think a lot of it is, I hate to say just because, I have a healthcare background, but I've also ran businesses. So that's where our strength is going to go, is how to put together a business. Now, new to the toy industry, but not new to logistics, not new to, international industry. So there's, but no, it takes a herd. I'm telling you, you talk about not only your designers, but where to go for the best insurance. I've dealt with insurance for different items, but when you're dealing international, it's different. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I hooked you up with a certain guy last year at Joe Fest, and I know you were talking with him about doing stuff. We're just going to leave it at that. So
you did, and we reached out. I think the time frame, again, a lot of these people, the time frames I give are I realize I need to give him more time. And Hans, it didn't work for him at the time.
Oh yeah, Hans Chow, by the way. Yeah.
Yep. And then Quentin. Actually, I had messaged Quentin too. We talked about it. So for anybody wondering, we've looked at doing a comic book line. We actually have kind of a, I guess you'd call it historical fiction story for the Patriot Force, but then we kind of grapple with, man, some of these guys and girls, have such awesome real stories. You try to focus on something, bringing that to life, the real stories, or the one we put together. But for the presidents, for the commandos in chief, we have another storyline.
Cool. J-Mac is asking, vehicles? ?
Where are we at on vehicles, Gavin?
I have no clue.
Yeah, we have me either, right? No, yeah, we have ideas for vehicles. Again, it'll go to what is being used. So,
Right. Cool. All right, J-Mac, there's your answer. What about Benghazi?
yeah, so actually we work with Tonto and then been in communication with another guy. Again, it kind of goes back to doing a multi-pack for those guys. That's further down the line, but yeah, definitely. So Tonto's one of them as a stretch goal. Yeah, you won't probably recognize him if you actually, I think when Benghazi incident happened, he was in flip-flops and shorts. I think the movie doesn't portray that, but that's something, interesting if you think about those guys who just got up and went to work without, taking time for themselves.
Yeah. I remember one day I was wearing body armor and silkies and just putting in work. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it happens when it happens. You know what I mean? So that's just the way that it works. So yeah, some people just rocking shower shoes and a M249, and you just go put in work. So whatever it is, what it is. Yeah. So anyway, 49er Brian, there's your answer. Fantasia Workshop. Will we get Patriot Force Brazil set? I think that's a play on the G.I. Joe Mission Brazil. I think it's more of a joke question.
Well, here we go. Look at the smoking snakes. Google up Sinte Apua smoking snakes. That is actually World War II fighter pilots. They were with my grandfather in the 350th Fighter Group. So I thought that'd be cool if we did World War II, do one of those guys.
It's pretty rad. Awesome. Frostbite is saying some Australian figure, please. I'm happy to model for you. But you had talked about like in the future looking at partners, right?
Yeah, Series 2. If we make it there, partner forces. So
I loved serving with the Australians. There was an Australian security sergeant on my deployment in 2012, and we were QRF, right? So our whole job is like, fight our way in, break everything, scoop up what we got to scoop up, and fight our way out. And he always wanted to go. Like every time, like QRF was like gonna hit the entry control point, he's like, "Hey, let me come." Be like, "Jump in, dude." Whatever. He was awesome. He was a totally awesome guy. Logic Blaster, British SAS, but you kind of already touched on that, right?
Yep, that was a big one we got early on when we started Patriot Force. It was a guy gave me a big list of these people, and I started looking them up. I knew Bear Grylls. He's one of the few that I knew, but then obviously a lot of people know Christian Craighead, and then again Dean Stott's SBS. So he's one we're already working with.
J-Max says, take a page out of Bobby's book and just answer most of the questions. Yeah, that's what we're doing, right?
Is that what he did?
Andrew M says he is in shorts in the movie.
Oh, he is. Okay. I couldn't remember. Okay.
Yep. Bush 41. Bush 41 did fight in the Pacific. Yeah.
He was a dive bomber. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. George Aiken says the new American Army camouflage for beach assaults, Bermuda shirts, shorts, full body armor. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I would wear frickin' combat pants and a Hawaiian shirt, all the time. Gerard O'Connor says a Chris Kyle and Jesse Ventura would be awesome considering their conflicting stories.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a multi-pack.
Yeah. Stinker Babooter? Any vehicles? Yeah, Ryan already answered about vehicles, but we're going to get into a little bit more. Variant heads with an extra hole for. No, why did I even read that? That's terrible. Crusty Old Crow, question for you two. Where does troop building fall as a priority for your line? It sounds like you are focused on individuals, and that's something that just before we went live, you were talking to me about. So you want to put it out there. I'm sure everybody in the chat's going to give their opinion.
Yeah, well, that's what Gavin's into. Well, I say that as far as I listen to him for that. Now, he doesn't play with toys, but he keeps telling me, hey, we got to have army builders. It can't just be these people. And so the goal is to do an initial run, launch of these people, and then, yes, offer army builders. Or the other thing was, because we get it, some people may not be a fan of Eddie or Remy or Cody or Nick, the initial 4 people. So if we have in there an additional head, either with like an American flag do-rag or handkerchief over the face or a full balaclava, something, we need to go talk about and offer with them.
Cool. Did he say yeah, silkies? Hell yeah, silkies. I got silkies galore. Our good friend Black Knight, aka Aaron from Hella Dope Toys, is here, and everybody remember Hella Dope is on right after me because it's TGIS, and they will be on at 9 p.m. Eastern. Jason Evangelista said it would be nice if you guys do the Benghazi contractor's portrait in 13 hours, which you already talked on that, right?
Yeah, you're doing Tonto, and even Boone and I had a couple of brief messages. It'd be awesome to do all them.
Can we get a hooded Cobra? Oh, wait, different topic. Never mind. Sorry, I had to. I had to
do an Insurgent. Actually, I saw Fresh Monkey Fiction has a hooded figure coming out.
Yeah, for their Operation Monster Force, the 6-inch stuff. Yep, they sure do. And Bobby's got a figure coming out with a cigar.
I saw that. That was pretty cool.
And that's fans are doing the best work. I know that the corporates say, well, we can't do this. We can't call them rifles or pistols. We have to call them blasters. And then you got all these other companies like, oh, what do you want? Cigars? Here you go. Yeah, it's awesome.
Copenhagen. We should do that.
Oh, yeah. Can of Copenhagen. Crusty Old Crow says, respect to the snipers. I will call it a win enough. I'm excited to check this line out even more now. Rad.
Right on.
I'm not just starring questions, right? I'm starring positive reinforcement. James Lucas, question: what other presidents do you have?
Lincoln and Teddy Roosevelt. We want to do.
The interesting thing about my infantry battalion, right? Because one thing in the Army and in the Marines, but specifically the Army, because we go so far back, our patches, they have like a history and a lineage to them, and you have to learn about all that stuff. When you come into a battalion, you're expected to learn all about the history of your battalion or whatever. My infantry battalion, the 1/200th Infantry Battalion, 1st Battalion, right, 200th Infantry Regiment, we can trace our lineage all the way back to the 200th Coastal Artillery, which is why my battalion always hosts the Baton Death March, because it was the 200th Coastal Artillery that were marched almost to oblivion, right? In the Baton Death March. And we trace our lineage directly back to Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders, which is also the first time that a machine gun was used in open combat against an enemy force, which is the Battle of San Juan Hill. And that's how we got Guantanamo Bay in Cuba.
I didn't know that was the first
Teddy
time
Roosevelt and the 200th and all that stuff. My battalion has such a huge history behind it.
Yeah, Teddy has to be one of the presidents. I mean, talk about an interesting character who tried to volunteer for, was it World War I?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're too old.
Captain K is asking, what is my opinion on Benghazi? That is a long answer. That whole Arab Spring thing was bullshit. There's my answer. Because the news media tried to make it all out like it was a great thing, but all of us who were in the Middle East at that time, and I was there for all of 2012, it was a freaking nightmare. Because 2 days after Benghazi, we got tuned up, and everybody back in the States is like, yay, Arab Spring, yay, Arab uprising. And it's like, no, absolutely not. So yeah, that's all I'm going to get into about that. What about a crush pack of smokes? No, whatever.
We'll roll.
Chris from Cutthroat Comics says, I think it will be a cool new line of 6-inch figures. I am in for sure. Thanks, Ryan and Gavin.
Thank you.
Cool. And then since Aaron's already here, it's not complete without Ted. So Ted's here as well. Good to see you, Ted. Thanks for being here, buddy. Hal Jordan is signing himself up for his hi. Have you guys met the ma'am?
Hi.
No, you never met the ma'am. How about my dog?
Yeah.
You want to see my dog's face? So Ryan and Gavin are the ones doing Patriot Force, right? That line of figures based on real service members.
Yeah.
The ma'am here, the reason why she's called the ma'am, she is one of the first females in the infantry and Ranger School. So yeah.
No kidding.
Yep. This one.
I recycled though. You can't.
Yeah,
say
but
that.
still, you went to Ranger School, right? You did go to Ranger School.
Yes, I did.
But yeah, she's one of the first female infantry officers, one of 26 in the
Probably
U.S.
more of
Army
us
Infantry. Maybe.
Yeah,
There might be now. More now.
yeah, but
Anyway,
still,
here's
that's pretty
Somebody
cool.
was talking shit about silkies. Look, she's wearing silkies. Everybody in the chat. See? Silkies. You're not a real infantryman unless you wear silkies, people. That's all there is to it. Anyway. I'm sure there's going to be like a million. Hey, man. Here we go. Eric Teixeira. So he has the two-part question. Good evening, gentlemen. I sincerely hope that you are able to finance the Kickstarter. More action figure action lines will always be welcomed, and I really enjoy the fact that you pay homage. That being said, Brazil was only the Second War. Do you intend to do a spin-off of Second World War? And with that, heroes from Brazil and other countries, do you intend to make play sets? There was a lot in there. So
It is, and one thing again, we're in our infancy. World War II probably is both Gavin and my favorite. I shouldn't say favorite, that's not right. But when it comes to lore, or when it comes to what we've looked into, I mean, because I had two grandfathers. One was a Marine in the Pacific. One again was in Europe, flying P-47s. I mean, we soak up as much as we can. Read books all the time, and yeah, definitely would like to. And again, like I said, look up Sente Pua. I mean, if you see those fighter pilots over there in Europe, it was a joke where they said a Brazilian won't be flying until you snake and smoke, right? So they call them the smoking snakes, and sure enough, I mean, those guys. My grandfather journaled a lot of it, and those guys, worked. So
cool,
good.
Very cool. I'm just highlighting all this because I said it was going to happen, right? Everybody was going to, ma'am. Mython says, bruh, Callie's getting bigger, dude. And hello, ma'am. Everybody says hi. She says hi. Yeah, Callie's she's freaking huge now. There was something else. Oh, Bear 11 Charlie said, my unit can trace its roots back to the 701st Tank Destroyers. Hell yeah, dude. That's rad. Gonzo sends a $2 super chat. Thank you, Gonzo, and says, punch and pie for all. Hi, ma'am and gents. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. And then Eric Teixeira says, so basically the ma'am is Scarlet because Scarlet is a woman ranger in the 80s, right? Yeah, kind of. Scarlet was a ranger school graduate. Yeah. There's a difference between being a ranger school graduate and being a ranger, right? I'm sure you guys are tracking this, right? Because if you're not in what they call BAT, you're just ranger qualified. You just wear the tab. If you're not scrolled, especially if you don't wear it as your combat patch, then a lot of the BAT guys look down on you because you just went to a schoolhouse. You know what I mean? I got to put it up. It's a super chat, and he knows it. My good friend Brad Davenport, who I've done online toy hunting with, I don't know, digital toy hunting, sends a $2 super chat and says, Chad and the ma'am 2-pack, please. Thanks, Brad, for the super chat, buddy. Anyway, moving on.
We might have to get some pictures sent to us of both of them.
Oh. Daredevil Dave, always good when the commander classes up your stream. I know, right? You got to have the ma'am. The ma'am makes it better. Okay, so I read Eric's question to you guys, and you answered that. Thank you. Just Jeff. Patriot Force, y'all have made fictional characters Trump looking slim in a military uniform, for instance. What about some bastards that are inglorious for World War II? I like how he put that.
And by the way, I got to credit people. Again, the president's being polarizing. It cracks me up. We'll get people about Trump. So, hey, does he come with his deferment papers or his, I can't remember what else did he have. Oh, bone spurs. Does he come with bone spurs? Yes. We'll have to see if we can get that sculpted on.
Can you hear that? They can hear that.
Little sizzle.
Yeah. Just playing with her toys in the back, if you know what I mean. Crusty Old Crow, can you guys speak on what to expect with regards to props, stands, or accessories that may be accompanying, coming with Patriot Force figures when they release? We can get to the slides, unless you want to just answer that.
Yeah, though it's going to be a little bit different. There will be, I guess it's specific to what they wore as much as we can. Because anybody who follows this channel or Bobby's probably knows where they talk about the molds, right? The molds are pretty expensive. So there will be some overlap. Not everybody's going to have the exact same setup as what they really used.
Right.
But yeah, there'll be probably 2 firearms, different accessories for every figure. All the gear is removable. I'm trying to think. A double dog tag is going to be the stand for the 6-inch. We had a single dog tag was going to be the stand for the 1/18 scale. Gavin, am I missing anything?
Nope.
We're gonna break it down for everybody Barney style here in just a second. Nicotronus, no, I still haven't read my Scarlet issue #1. It's sitting over there. Been a little busy.
By the way, have you seen that Kickstarter for all those? Yeah. Holy cow, man!
It's at like 4,000% funded.
I think it was over 1.7 million last I saw.
And I think that's rad that they offer it. I'm only short like I think 21 issues at last count, so I'm doing it old school. I'm doing it issue by issue, and to me, it's one of those like I look at it as a marathon, not a sprint. I take my time with it. If I find one, I have in my phone what issues I'm missing, and I find one, I'm like, cool, and then I take it off the list. But I could see why it's appealing. Totally. Absolutely. J-Max says, Patriot Force looks amazing, guys. Gotta go. Catch the rest on replay. Thanks for being here, Jay. It's good to see you, man. Ken's Toys uses his Chad Chat feature. Thanks for using that, Ken. How many accessories will each figure come with? You guys kind of already hit on that, right?
Yeah, it's going to be at least probably 2 firearms. I'm trying to think. Some will have a knife. Some will have a radio. The biggest thing is trying to make them equal, right? But some may have one more accessory. We do have deluxe figure sets, which will be on this PowerPoint. We also have insurgents. We did not put them on the PowerPoint right now. Actually, our guy Joel is working on a lot of those today.
But they're on your Instagram, right?
I think we did. No, I don't think they're on there yet. I think just Clint is. Clint and some of the body will overlap with insurgents, and they'll see on Clint he wore Yemeni.
I know you've been. Oh God, Yemeni. I know you've been sending me stuff, and I saw an image of, like a Tally fighter or something, Taliban or somebody like that, and there was like the box around the face. I don't remember where I saw that, but I did see it. Yes, Jimmy, she was cycling her taser. That's exactly what that was. Yeah. Looking. Eric says, thank you very much. Forgive me for being hard work. P.S. Sorry. No, you're not hard work, and your English is just fine, dude. What about ghillie suits? Asked Barefoot Monster.
Gavin, what do you think? That's a big one he wants.
Yeah, that would be cool, but like the cloth materials and stuff would cost a lot.
But the thing is, OEF, ghillie suits. I mean, ghillie suits are rad. But I don't know. Tony from Analog Toys and we always joke about this. They show like guys in ghillie suits in the desert. It's like, do you want to die? Because that's how you die.
120, right? Yeah.
Oh man, forget it.
Well, here's the cool thing is some of these veterans are still, I wouldn't say they're not active, but they still participate in, training, hunting. Yep. Mm-hmm. And so if there's a figure out there, we've talked about, all right, what about doing an exclusive this down the road? And ghillie suit, either cloth, or if you could do it right, in a PVC or the material that you're going to make the figure out of would be awesome. We have these old Elite Force figures, and they have some sort of a mock-up. But again, it's trying to make it fit in. If we're trying to go realistic or semi-realistic, again, it won't be perfect. We're not going to be historically accurate, at least not 100%. And main reason on that is because we're reusing some parts. But we'd love to do ghillie suits.
Oh, she cares.
By the way, Gavin, we have a cat. I grew up with dogs, and we have a cat, and this cat keeps trying to jump on my lap here. So.
Oh yeah. Every once in a while, I'll pick up one of my cats because they're usually under the desk. Everybody. So I have a coffee mug full of treats, and they just come in here and get treats. Yeah, the whole time. It's part of my shtick, pets, right? James Lucas says a $10 or $2 super chat, as you were, and says best of luck with the Patriot Force line, guys.
Thanks, sir.
Very awesome. Lilith is here. Good to see you, Lilith. and I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth. Ooh, any plans for dress uniforms?
What was the big request we had, Gavin, when we go to local shows?
I don't really dress uniforms, but I don't remember.
Marine dress blues. There's a guy we'd see, and he's like, I'll buy when you have Marine dress blue. So yes, we'd like to do all the dress uniforms. Probably take brand new bodies to do that. Or I mean, of course they would, but yeah, no, that's another one we have down the road we want to do.
Yeah, cool. Lawrence Howard is here. Good to see you, Lawrence. Thanks for being here.
An AR-14. Yeah.
With a what is it? With a 300 round magazine or yeah.
Just need a shotgun and fire it off twice. That's it.
Yeah. Here you go.
Animal companions. We'll be showing you one here in a little bit. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it here in just a second. Gonzo says, put a man dress on. That's your desert ghillie suit. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, and the Daredevil Dave says, my son ships out for Navy Basic in 3 days. Would love to see dress uniforms. There you go.
I have some cousins who are active duty still. And biggest thing we talked about is if we could do the dress uniforms and actually get them sold on base. So, you know, you do generic head, maybe do different skin tones. We thought that'd be pretty cool. A10 pilot. So when we talk about vehicles, that's
See? Told you.
No kidding. That looks like a fatter version of our cat.
Yeah, that's just one of them. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
Our cat is a black cat, and she's pretty skinny.
Black cats rule. Black cats rule. Totally rule. Yeah, so Jason's asking, do you plan on any Apache pilots, A-10 pilots? Some of the stories these pilots told during their time during combat is unreal what they went through.
It is. And again, my grandfather, flying P-47s, he journaled the first several missions. And it's pretty funny. It doesn't take long to see being a green pilot and screwing up and actually dropping one of his 500-pound bombs off as he was taking off the first time. Luckily, he wasn't armed too. You know, he did 70-some missions. So, yeah, I'd love to do them. Love to do vehicles. I think the Rattler. Everybody's wanting the Rattler, but I think it'd be pretty cool to do an A-10.
Yeah, like a legit A-10.
Yeah,
that's awesome. George Aiken had to go. Thank you for being here, George. Always appreciate it because, you know, he's in the UK, so their times are all messed up. This one made me chuckle. Just say no.
We actually had lunch today with a friend who's in Space Force today. And so, you know, it would be very similar to Air Force. I mean, you could do the dress and
there's some Space Force guys on Kirtland, right? Because, you know, they do all like the shady beyond top secret stuff here with like Starlight Labs, and you see them, you can pick them out easy because like their patchery is different. And they always look like they could barely tie their shoes when they got up that morning. I'm just like, ugh.
Well, I think Coast Guard too, we've talked about. I would hate to neglect, you know, Coast Guard. So Landon, here you go. Landon from Invincible Toy. He's a former Coast Guard. And then I have a friend who served up in Maine. So
cool.
Be cool to have them.
I got to give a special shout out to my Canadian brother, Jay Bartlett. Says, yo, Joe Station. Good to see you, Jay. Thanks for being here, brother. Kentucky Inbred's got to go. Sleep is required for work. Good luck on the Patriot Force line. Work sucks.
Work sucks. Time to be grown up, huh?
Raymond Sheffield's here. It says, hey, brother, apologies I'm late. Usual Facebook drama nuts. Well, at least you're here. Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. And then apparently cats are winning the stream. P.S. We can see your cat's tail cruising around.
Mine?
Yeah. Our good friend Will from Wilhelm Toy and Hobby is here. Good to see you, Will. Thanks for being here, brother. Yeah, we still got people kind of moseying in. Greg's asking, have you considered making gear packs, providing different loadout options and what an individual character uses? Or use?
Yeah. We actually have, we have backpacks. We have a lot of items we haven't showed yet. The biggest thing is the sculpt is done, but maybe not the mock-up or the prototype printed. But we had discussed doing like a gear pack in certain camo styles. So maybe you have like a woodland, you can get a plate carrier, a backpack, get a few different things. Maybe the firearm also coated in that. Some of that's going to be dependent upon what the factory can do or cost, right, with it. So
nice. Brad Davenport says A10 pilot, do it, dog. And then Rollkeeper does point out some guys in the Coast Guard found themselves in a little place called Vietnam in the 60s and 70s. Right. That is true.
Yeah, I think the only Medal of Honor recipient was that Vietnam or was that World War II? Oh, I think that might have been older.
And then James Lucas says, question, how about 118 scale play sets? Please, please. Well, Ryan and Gavin already answered that. They're not doing 118 yet.
Well, Gavin, tell them what you want to do. What?
I would love for us to figure out how to do like trenches if we could do World War One.
Oh yeah, the no man's land trench warfare.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be freaking awesome. And that's what's cool about doing a historically accurate line. 99% outside of the stuff that you were talking about. You have so much to draw from. So much.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at UBL, right? Operation Neptune Spear. I mean, you do that house. That'd be cool.
Complete with crashed Stealth Hawk.
So we live near the Navy SEAL Museum, and they have a mock-up there. And so when Gavin and I went last time, and I took pictures of every angle, doing everything we could in case we went down that road later.
Dude, that would be rad. I'm not the biggest 112th guy. I've said numerous times. I don't even know why I'm restating this, but if it's not G.I. Joe trying to be Marvel Legends, I'm all about it, right? I'm all about Action Force. Like, I believe in what you guys are doing. If you guys came out with a UBL compound playset for 112, I would put money down on that shit in a heartbeat. So,
or even if that's 118th, I mean, just being able to do it at one of the scales.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Cool. All right, let me get back to the starred stuff, and then everybody hanging out. We're going to try to get to these slides because you guys got to see these slides before we run out of time. Most of this you already answered. Salty Lead Farmer. Doing World War II need Audie Murphy, Don Adams, a.k.a. Get Smart, right? As well as Rod Serling just to dust over the many great icons. That's a lot of likeness rights.
John Baslone. Well, here's the other thing, and we want to do it right. I'm putting this out there, but you have, I think, is it 70 or 80 years from when, if it's a public figure, their likeness rights aren't needed later on. And I say that only because I know Patton, there was a big case that people got in trouble a while back. Now, even if those likeness rights expired, heck yeah, we'd want to reach out to the family. We'd want to make sure they got their piece. And that's one thing too. I don't know if we put out there, we were doing customs. We were giving up 50% of the profit. Typically we were doing 25% to the foundation that each veteran chose. And then 25% went to the veteran. But honestly, most of the guys said, man, I don't need it. Just send it to the foundation. So that's what most of it was. Now, to run an efficient, self-sustaining business, we wouldn't be able to do that probably. So we got to finish that out. But still, we want to make sure every figure sold, we donate something to.
That's cool. Yeah, totally cool. The Python is asking, what about a 112 scale Oshkosh JLTV?
Yeah, that's it. That to me is top of my personal list. I know Gavin probably has something else, but yeah. JLTV.
We just started fielding those before, I was dialing down my career, but yeah, we just started fielding those.
JLTV. What's the other one? The MATV, yeah, that'd be the other one I think would be cool too.
The only thing about a MATV, like the JLTV, at least they're short. The MATVs, they're kind of designed around that V-shaped hole of like your MRAP. So a MATV, just a standard MATV, is 14 feet tall.
No kidding.
Yeah. You don't realize how tall a MATV is until you start running operations in those. And then you put like a CROWS or a CROWS 2, some kind of a remote weapon system on top of it. And the clearance on those is ridiculous.
When we went to Augusta last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, my cousin's active up there. And so we went to the base and he showed us around and they had those JLTV. And that was at the time I saw that, I thought, God, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Their silhouette is not very tall. They're a pretty rad vehicle. I liked them. I did. It's like a Humvee and a MATV, like had a baby.
There you go. Yeah. Cross.
It's very much a lessons learned vehicle, but yeah, cool. There you go. Mython, there's your answer. Gavin, what do you want to see vehicle wise?
Humvees, but I know they've been done a lot, or Blackhawks.
Yeah, but I mean, Humvees, they're iconic. I'm not a big fan of that word, but they are.
You know,
Especially when you're talking about OIF, OEF, right? Humvees. Especially in the early days of those wars, they were like cannibalizing refrigerators and whatever pieces of armor plating they could get a hold of and lining the insides of vehicles with sandbags. It was crazy.
Well, and I'm trying to think. I think I've seen RC versions of those. Is there anybody that's done a 1/12 scale? Because the other thing would be was a Bradley. I thought that'd be pretty cool to do.
Bradley would be rad. Yeah. The M2 Bradley, that'd be pretty sweet. Matt Rubin is asking, will you have enemy troops for the veteran good guys to fight? Which you kind of already answered that.
We got quite a few. And I will say we're not going to advertise on the Kickstarter who they resemble, but all of them are very loosely based on real people. Now, are they going to be exact like this? No, I mean, we don't want to do that. We don't want to look like we're trying to honor these guys. But I was messaging Clint Emerson. He said, yeah, man, we need some bad guys. So
right, yeah,
we add some of those in there.
Yep. And so, yeah, not to be insensitive, there will be sand people. 49er Brian again is screaming. How about Rob O'Neill, my boy from Butte, Montana, who took out Osama?
All right, I got to show you one other thing I have here. Rob O'Neill signed.
Never quit.
Please don't screenshot my face in that with that toy. I don't want that going out there. But I saw that. I thought that was pretty cool. I think I was telling my wife, and she's like, "Man, what would you want that thing for?" But I thought it's just pretty cool. I mean, he signed it, and he was on that raid. So
yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. So we're getting there. What about Lieutenant Michael Murphy?
He would be another great one to do. Gavin's again, I mean, Medal of Honor recipient. Same with Marcus Luttrell. I mean, other guys, that were there.
Yep. Cool. All right. We're done with the starred stuff. Let me get to Ken's Toys said, talking about World War II celebrities, I would go apeshit for a Don Rickles.
No, I didn't know he was in World War II. That's pretty cool.
There you go.
I thought
Jim Smith said, there's a ton of Salas on clearance from that failed indie line.
Oh, yeah.
You could use Sala.
We have some of those older ones. It's just one of those where we're trying to look at how they did the articulation with the extra clothing. Dirty Dozen, another one.
That would be hard, right?
Yeah. And Elvis, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Elvis would be rough. Van Morrissey, are we doing punch and pie for being late? I think just the fact that it's like when my Joes used to come up to me. If they went to parade rest when they came up to me, I would tell them to relax. But if they didn't go to parade rest and they just started talking to me, I would always go, what? I can't hear you. And then they would go, oh. And then I would tell them to relax, and then I would talk to them, right? Because every opportunity is a learning opportunity. Van Morrissey, as long as you mention punch and pie, you're good. Other than that. What about Little Birds?
Another one. I mean, all these I think would be cool to build out. I mean, an entire line. Yeah, Little Birds, Blackhawks. We actually, so I guess kind of talk further down the road. So again, if OEF goes well, work backwards. We have the 90s. We already have some the old Delta Force guys. Actually, Tom Satterley. We did a custom of him. So it'd be cool to do the Operation Gothic Serpent and either do the Night Stalkers with a Black Hawk or a Little Bird. Any of those I think would be pretty sweet. Awesome. And something else it's very far down the road, but we talked about American made. There's actually conversations I've had with someone here who owns several injection molding machines. His dad owned a business. And so we thought, all right, what could we do in Made in America? It's pretty tough with the skilled labor for the painting of the figures, but maybe vehicles that are just molded and don't have to be hand painted. Maybe that's something that we could add. So talked to a lot of people. Nothing is concrete.
Right. Yeah. And then Mikey's saying World War II Mel Brooks. That's the thing. Like, you guys have an ocean of opportunities, just out there.
There's a lot.
Barefoot Monster. What about stores?
What stores? Now, online distribution probably be first, our own website. I think a lot of the retail, you can get yourself in trouble, especially like a young company or what you call a boutique company like ours. So maybe down the road, I mean, who knows? Bass Pro Shop, we talked about that. because they're big supporters of veterans. But you don't see anything like this there. I mean, you see kids' toys in there.
Yeah, cool. Oh, since you guys are big on the whole vet service member thing, right? The ma'am, right? Belgian Malinois, right?
Look at that,
So
yeah.
the ma'am has herself her own little working dog, and she's a baby. We call her Jaws because you want to talk about dogs that all the time? That's all she does. The Maligator. Yeah, that's exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Cutthroat's asking, are you guys going to do any medics?
Yeah, I don't think we have anybody that are per se medic, but like Eddie was not Eddie, I'm sorry. I think Cody, there's a few of the guys that had like the med kit on them. Actually, if you look at, I don't know if we showed it in our mock-up, but we have like the scissors, the tourniquet, you know, and the Red Cross on there. That's what Cody said he had. Sean Ambrose had that too. Actually, Sean, you know what? I think Sean was a medic. He's a MP, but I think he was prior to that a medic.
Yep. I was a medic before I was infantry, and I
Really?
maintained it as my secondary MOS throughout my whole career. Sure did. Sir T. Baggins, was there an articulation demo of the 112 figures shown with all the gear on? Been very curious on that since G.I. Joe's poor attempt at multi-pouch vest. Oh, yeah. Theirs was caca.
Yeah, we will. That to me is huge. I want to be able to make sure we can pose them with the gear on. I think Chad or someone was asking me because on the plate carrier you can see some pouches along the side. Arms at rest work just fine with it. Posing, you know, if they're an M4 is fine. I mean, we still got more we need to do, and really, I think what it would come down to is whether some of those people we just leave those off, or you can do, you know, like a pistol mag pouch, something smaller.
Cool. Joe Fan 84 is here and says, "Evening, everyone. I had a Belgian Malinois dog too. I miss her. I'm sorry that you don't have your Malinois anymore. I know that sucks." And then something about selective hearing. I suffer from selective hearing.
Yeah, I do
all
too.
the time. Yeah, absolutely. Father Son Galaxy said some USO tour celebrities would be cool. Toby Keith would be cool. Either way, I love this line all in.
Yeah, Toby Keith, Bob Hope. I mean, there's some cool ones to do.
Let's look at some slides. Let's show everybody in the chat some slides. So I'm just going to bring them up, and then you guys tell me when I can move on from a slide, okay? So here we go. Got some slides. All right.
Yep, and by the way, this call sign may not be set. The reason why we went to veterans really was, again, the story where Eddie Gallagher, again, there's going to be a lot of opinions on him, either side. To me, personal opinion, you know, if the story was even true, that we found out this guy killed an ISIS fighter after they captured him. I'm not a service member. I'm not one to judge. And I thought, I hate to say that would sound like a dumb charge to me, not to sound callous, but I didn't care. But I did look into a lot of the other allegations that were made. And actually, after we chose to go with him, it made me feel better where someone who knows him personally and knew what went on reached out to me and said, yeah, he was definitely screwed over. And so for that guy to reach out and say that, I thought that was pretty awesome because he didn't have to say anything. But anyway, yeah, we chose Eddie. We met Eddie. Eddie's been nothing but awesome. And what struck me, again, when I first met him, he didn't go to me. He went right to my boys. He went right to Gavin and was talking to him, and very thankful. Very cool person. And again, him and his wife started a foundation to give back, where I thought for everything he went through, if this guy could have gone quietly, into his retirement, he didn't. You know, he realizes what he went through. There's a lot of other people going through it. Mm-hmm. And so he's out there doing that. So who wouldn't get behind Patriot Force in stores?
Let me hit this real quick. Sorry. Gerard, MOS stands for Military Occupational Specialty. Mm-hmm. Sorry. It's easier than typing it. My bad. Go ahead.
So one thing I'll preface with any of these people, I don't know how well, I use the word how well they operated, if they were phenomenal at their job, if they sucked at their job. But for each of these people, I've seen their interactions with enough of their, Eddie with other SEALs. I got a good enough feeling that I think we're okay with who we chose, at least from that side of it. Now,
you're always going to have freaking armchair quarterbacks that are going to have opinions on everybody else's, behaviors and actions and things like that. But
well, and
these are all the people that, like, you know, when their 2000 channel television goes out, it's a world-ending event, you know, and all they really worry about is striped toothpaste and, you know, high-speed internet. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, and the big thing is the media, and I'm going to say this from both sides, media and politicians will always try to sway your opinion one way or another, right? So whoever you watch, you know, the other side's the devil.
Yeah. Two guys kind of asked the same question, and I'm going to throw it up because we're kind of already in it. But Sir T. Baggins is asking, for snipers, will you have neck articulation for prone posing? It's big talk in a lot of the other lines, and that's because that 60th anniversary 112 scale G.I. Joe action soldier can't get in the prone and then look down his weapon. So
you're right. I have that figure, and what a disappointment. So the prototypes we printed, yeah, they do. Now, obviously, we're going to have to make sure what comes from the factory does too. But no, that's big for us too.
Cool. Okay, so you guys heard it here first. Yeah, Tony from Analog Toys, he utterly freaking destroyed that figure. Now, granted, I mean, they were observations, and he shows the problems with it. But, you know, as a service member, like, he gets it, totally gets it. Same time Toys is here. What's up, buddy? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, and there's a lot. I mean, think Eddie has that accuracy international rifle, and we do have a bipod on there. So what's the purpose of a bipod if they can't lay down and do it? No, it doesn't have to be just a neck is what I was thinking of. And again, I had that same figure you're talking about. You know, you could do it with the torso too, but I want to make sure the guy can do more than look at a 45-degree angle, which it's more to it than, you know, I guess I would have thought.
Yeah. And then for anyone who doesn't know what REMP stands, do you guys know what REMP stands for?
I don't.
Rear echelon motherfucker. That's so now they call it in the rear with the gear or whatever, but old school we used to call everybody REMPs. Yeah. But now it's like kind of pogue. People like to say pogue, right?
Yeah,
people other than gunmen, but REMP was the big thing. Like if you were a fobbit back in the day before like OIF, OEF got big, like 2005-ish, everybody was a REMP. You weren't a pogue. So, yeah. Well, any popular vet YouTubers like the narrator and the guys from Black Rifle, etc. Ooh.
Who do we do, Gav? I don't know who the narrator is, but
the Black Rifle guys.
Omar Avila, we do.
Yeah, Crispy. He doesn't work for him. He's I don't know. I mean, he works with him, I'd say, but he does his own thing. But the only Air Force guy, and actually I don't have the mock-up on here, is JT. We have a TAC P. I think you mentioned TAC P. Yeah, we have one. I think he's been scaled up from the 118 scale. Originally, that's how we had him, but
right.
I think now with the parts bigger, we can do more with it. So we want to try to add more, I guess, fun to the accessories would be an easy way of saying it. Instead of just a backpack, maybe making the phone actually be able to come off.
Cool. All right, let's boop. There you go. You guys want to talk on this?
All gear comes off. The dog tag's not true to scale from the figure, probably on the right side. But when we went from 118 to 112 scale, we did go from one dog tag to two. Let's see, radio, SIG P226. His helmet comes off. Every helmet, by the way, so even if we don't have night vision goggles with him, if we have them in an accessory pack, they all fit. All the heads fit.
Yeah, the Rhino mount, right? It's kind of universal.
Yeah.
Which, for anyone who's wondering, that's the Rhino mount right there.
Yeah. For the M4 and the HK 416, you can actually adjust the stock. For this, you can't. No, you can't.
This one's fixed. Yeah.
But the cheek pad, no, can't adjust that. But suppressor, bipod, and that
I like this. Just take my money.
The piece on the bottom of that rifle that the bipod connects to, I believe that's a separate part too. Things may change, right? Prototypes are one thing, but if you get from a factory and it doesn't seem to work out, maybe that would be different. But that's the current setup right now with that attachment being able to come off.
That's rad. Cool.
Oh, he's got a knife too. I forgot. Put right there. Half face blade. It's on the back of his belt.
Nice. Very, very cool. Yeah. Please just take my money. Accuracy. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks very accurate.
300 Win mag.
And I know that you guys worked really hard, and you and I had conversations on the phone about what patterns are copyrighted and what patterns aren't, and things like that, and how
these are inspired.
The OEF pattern, which it kind of changed. It later on became the Scorpion 2 pattern, and the multicam. That's what everyone called the OEF pattern.
Which that's trademarked. I mean, we're not doing multicam. We'll have what do we say? The occupational. We'll do one that mimics that. So
and then Cutthroat says the communication stuff is cool. You don't see that a lot with 6-inch figures. And I know that with like guys comms and like the push to talks and stuff, you put a lot of time and effort into those.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the tough one, is making sure you can offer a diverse amount of accessories, because again, if you line up 10 of these guys, they're going to have a lot of the same gear, same variation of, maybe the London Bridge plate carrier. But the radio wise, some if you look at the gear, they have an antenna. Some of them they don't. They have the pull up antenna.
Yeah. Same time says, man, these are amazing. 49er Brian is, can I open an account with your company and buy stock?
That's something we've had offers where people wanted to buy in before and said, we don't want to give up to someone else, when that would mean that's less we would probably be able to give to a foundation or one of these guys.
Awesome. And then Lawrence and Velvet Platts are both asking about the Duro on your weapons, and you know why.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know all about that.
Why.
We have plenty of those figures, and it pisses me off when you take it out of a package and it's bent up. Now it's material, right? It's and I can't remember. I'm sure it's probably Bobby. I've heard. Well, of course, yeah. Bobby's talked about that too. I mean, you think about. I think ABS is what they make joints out of typically. ABS is a harder material.
Mm-hmm.
If the factory can do that, I mean, that's what we'd want to go with.
Cool.
Again, I'm gonna lean heavily on the factory. They've been doing this for years, and then they have a new figure line that we'll see at Joe Fest too.
Yep. Kiwi, what's up, dude? Good to see you. This is a good question from Greg. Because people who they do like the pop and swap kind of kit bashes. With the head and neck ball size, are you doing your own unique sizing and depth, or are you leaving swaps and customs with other lines open?
Yeah, but I think the problem is each line may be a little bit different. If we had to say we picked it towards one thing, it's towards classified, right? And so I don't know exactly how many millimeter their ball is. When I was talking to Joel, I said, hey, we want to make sure we can fit classified. Again, what you think about, you get from a package, the specifications, you may never know the exact specifications, but after you measure, 20 or 30 of them, you got a pretty good idea and narrow down to what it's going to be. And so that's what we do. Is it going to be perfect? I'm not going to make that claim. But we hope so, right? We hope it can fit those.
Well, and the thing with classified is their shit changes from wave to wave anyway.
Yeah.
I think the only one, and this is me speaking, the only one that I would strive to get, measurements, Action Force.
Yeah. Well, and if we did that same thing, and I don't remember what figure, maybe Bobby could answer better, but I would think his ball is the same as one of the classified, right? We popped it on those figures, and it was pretty snug on both of them. I think it was Outback. Outback is what we grabbed when we were checking out. But you're right. That's another annoying thing is you take off 10 heads and you're going to see different ball sizes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's wave to wave, because if you try to kit bash them, you're like, well, this sucks, and then you have to do the whole hot glue, let it cool, and the Vaseline. It's just a pain in the ass.
Well, that's the same with your old Star Wars, Clone Wars too. I mean, this kid growing up, we would try to do that, and some of them had the peg built onto the neck. Some of them you could pop off. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason why they did that.
Eric is asking, will there be gear packs or gun packs, because this rifle looks so cool?
Yeah, that's something we have to sort out. I asked Gavin's opinion. I think he's more tuned on some of this when it comes to that, whether we'd want to offer this rifle in the beginning, maybe not, but if it's something we offer down the road. But yeah, M4 definitely, because that's so common, the AK. And I'm going to say M4 and HK 416, obviously they look pretty identical. It's internal components for people who don't know, but you can set them both up the same way. Handguard, suppressor.
Gangster grips. dumb
Yeah,
stuff.
everything. You can do the California grip on there if you want, or you can.
Yeah. Jim Smith said Hasbro just announced one size pegs from now on. We shall
Okay.
see.
Yeah.
Very cool. Action Force Series 1 Joe's the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Lightning Collection and Marvel Legends pre-23 were all very similar. There you go. Oh, and then Cutthroat is asking, are we going to see MREs?
Those haven't been made, but that's something we thought would be pretty cool to add.
Yeah.
If you've seen, some people have like the 112 scale like magazines, right? There's different things you can do. Yeah.
Gonzo saying ball size doesn't have to match other lines as long as the ball size matches across your line. Then it's good to go. Yeah, there you go, right?
Well, here we go. What we're getting the factor is one size, right, for all of them. So we haven't sculpted more than that one size.
And I think you kind of already touched on this, but could a weapons pack include multiple magazines, maybe a carry case if for a specific rifle, ammo boxes, carry spare mags, whatever?
Yeah, and by the way, if you look at Eddie's mock-up here, it shows the radio. If you look at his plate carrier, those magazines on him, so some of the figures, just because aesthetic, we want to match what they really had, where they have the straps over them, you won't be able to remove all of them. His radio is removable. Other guys, their magazine is removable, but since he doesn't have an M4 and we didn't want to make a specific pouch just for his 300 Win Mag, he does not have magazines that are removable. He does have, again, a knife on the back of his belt.
Mikey, I just answered your question in the chat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because you already talked about you're using the same factory as Fist.
Yeah.
And then Patrick Strauko says, I love the realism. These are awesome. Well, then let's look at more of them, shall we? Okay. You want to talk on Reaper? I know you and I have talked about him offline. So,
yeah, Gavin, you want to take him?
I don't really know.
Put you on the spot, boy.
He said, nah.
Nicholas Irving, by the way, I read his book several years ago. And again, he was one of them when we first did customs. He was one of the initial ones we did. Very interesting story. And if you get a chance to read his first book, I haven't read the other ones. He's written a bunch more, but man, what a great read. He actually earned, again, none of these guys gave their nickname or call sign to themselves. He actually earned that nickname, the Reaper, while he's over there. He had, I think, registered 33 sniper kills. And so if you look at him on Instagram, he's not active very often, but Reaper 33 is what he has. Cool thing about him, and by the way, this right was some old artwork. He had his rifle he nicknamed Dirty Diana. And so we have it looking, again, more of a recent mock-up, but pretty cool. Army Ranger. There's a lot of photos of this guy. Again, he went in there and did work. He had an M4. You know, there's some you'll see him with the night vision, but we wanted to go with him for that mock-up. Yep. Today he's got dreads, and I told Gavin, I was like, it'd be awesome to do a newer photo of him. You know, how he looks now. I think that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, another head for him. And that's the thing. You touched on a couple of things right off the bat. Dirty Diana's Michael Jackson, dude. Come on. Steve Stevens, Billy Idol's guitar player. Anyway. Sorry, Skyfall. I just actually do, buddy. Two things. One, you should never pick your own call sign. That's a no-go, right? You earn it. Because I had a Joe named Butters because we were out at the range qualifying the caliber 50s on top of the trucks. And I hear this behind me and I'm looking around and this guy's like a PV2, right? We had just gotten him out of like Fort Benning a couple of weeks prior. And I turn around and this kid's like, and he is covering himself in, the Stay White or the sunblock. Right, we call it Stay White, and he is just white, like he is white all over. And I'm like, why are you slathering that shit on like butter, man? And then boom, Butters, right? So Butters was his call sign. So you never pick your call sign, you earn it, right? Either a good way or a bad way. And Reaper earned his a good way, and Butters earned his a bad way. And always name your weapon, always, because like. It's the one thing that's going to keep you safe. You know, you got to clean it and love it and give it attention. And mine was Maybelline, right? Chuck Berry song, right?
Yeah.
So
I thought Dirty Diana was
motivating cool. Over the hill. Saw Maybelline in a Coupe de Ville, right? Yeah, there you go. Velvet Plats. Never pick your own damn call sign. Can't imagine how Reaper was named. Ryan just touched on it because of all his kills.
What do we say? We had when we did a custom, we did a Soul Snatcher version that actually had Grim Reaper behind him.
Yeah, Robert's Infinite Realm says these are cool. I've been a bit quiet, but wrapped in the conversation. Very cool. Patriot Force, I saw your cat.
I don't know where she is.
All right, cool. So, and then here, there you go. That Shemog looks perfect. Perfect.
So I will say, by the way, his vest, if you look at him, he had, I mean, I wouldn't really call it a plate carrier. It was like the old flak. He wore quite a bit. So that's something else we talked about. All right, what does it cost to make a brand new flak vest for? Actually, does he have it? If you look at the one in the movie American Sniper, Chris Kyle has, and he had the Punisher. It looks identical to that. It has a Velcro
just like the old flak vest we used to wear. Yeah, with that annoying collar.
Yeah, so you can't do as many accessories on that. Well, I mean, I guess you can, but it's not going to match what he wore. But again, the jury's still kind of out on this. I think it'd be cool to get that because that's what he had on.
Yeah. Those combat pants look perfect. Perfect. Down to this shit right here. The combat pants, like you guys nailed that. The battle belt.
The knee pads are a little bit different than Eddie and Cody
because they're inserts.
Yep. Well, but even I'm talking about the aesthetics of it. Eddie and Cody, if you look at his had different lines on it. This is the one Nick wore, so we wanted to make sure we offered it accurate.
Those pants are very comfortable, by the way. They're stretchy, they breathe. I love those pants. I never wore the pad inserts. I just kind of rocked them as they were because the Velcro behind the knee, you got to get them in there just right, but whatever, right? Shooter preference. But anyway, yeah, there he is. You can see his painted rifle. Looks fantastic.
And a lot of these guys just looked like took a rattle can and went at an angle across the rifle. And so you'll see a similar theme in some of ours.
Yep. Cool. All right.
Remy Adeleke
kid.
Remy Adeleke, again, I read his book. What a heck of an interesting story. This guy, if you don't know about him, I suggest looking him up. He was actually born in Nigeria. His dad, they called him Chief, and it was kind of a royalty thing. And his story about how you talk about corrupt governments, right? You know, stripped a lot, pretty much everything from their family. But there's an island that's been built out there that it was his dad was one who envisioned it. But I told him, I was like, hey, what about call sign Chief? And he's like, what I thought was cool is he stopped me and he said, no, because I wasn't a chief in the Navy, right? So he said they called him the Whiz over there. I think I saw him on Mike Ritland's podcast, and he was a smooth talker, pretty into it when they were doing the interrogation. So someone started calling him the Whiz. I believe, don't quote me, but I believe that's how he got that.
Yeah.
But he wrote a book. Oh man, it's skipping me now. But a lot of these people we find out, we read their books, and Gavin actually reads a lot too, like Jack Carr. Excuse me. And that's how you learn about him. And you know, pretty inspiring story.
Here's a question we haven't touched on. Do you guys know what the price range is going to be?
No, it's going to be right now. It's going to be probably a ballpark high. I mean, I'm going to say probably $30 to $33. I would love to tell everybody it's going to be less than that, but we don't know yet. So that's another reason why we're postponing the Kickstarter. And part of it was because once you start adding in the other figures, right, the price changes, and it also depends upon how many you order, right? If we would blow it out of the water and you order a lot more, then your price would go down. So how can we pass it on? Maybe save in shipping. There'll be ways to do it.
Yeah. Awesome. Andrew says sweet. And then Chris from Cutthroat really likes that boonie hat. Boonie hats are the shit. Boonie hats and ball caps. I got to roll. Cool. All right. And then boop. He looks good.
Yeah. I think we gave him a knife on the back too, just because we're trying to figure out how can we add more gear. So the mock-up that will be on Kickstarter, I believe there's a knife in there too.
Awesome. And we shall move on. Cody Alford, Nomad.
Yep, Marine Raider, another high energy, doing a lot of good work. Again, volunteering, or he does a lot of charity, but he also has a couple of companies. So We Defy the Norm is the one people know of probably the most. Struck me, actually, I reached out to him. I can't remember, it was early on. We were messaging each other, and just you watch his videos, you realize that the guy is very passionate. Everything he does, he's very passionate. And he ended up being later on the Sean Ryan show. If anybody knows Sean Ryan, a great podcast to watch if you want to learn stories about these guys. And you realize this guy was just a machine. He finished top of his class, top of about everything he did. And you look at him today, too. He's built like a linebacker.
Yeah, he's a brick shithouse.
Yeah, he is.
So a couple of people are chiming in on the price range that you're posturing for, I guess. Jason says $33 is okay to me. Action Force was originally priced at 32. And then Kaiju Kitty says 30 to 33 doesn't sound bad for all that you're offering. Hasbro is charging nearly that much now and giving us bendy wire accessories without the wire. Yeah. See, so there you go. And then Mike Joseph says, my call sign was Magellan. It was not for a good reason. Yeah. Captain says, Sean Ryan podcast is pretty good. Cody, and then Gonzo says Cody's episode was like 6 to 8 hours. Man, I watched it several times.
Yeah, it was a long one. But look at Sean, man. A lot of his podcasts have done that. I think I found him when he was on episode 4 or 5, maybe. And at that time, there were still a few hours. Now they've sometimes they'll break them up into multiple parts.
Awesome. Skyfall is asking you, Ryan, have you ever heard about Don Shipley, former Buds 131 on YouTube?
Yeah, Don and DJ. His son was part of SEAL Team 6, Red Team. But yeah, we haven't talked about doing him just because he was not in these OIF or OEF. DJ was, and DJ gets requested quite a bit. The problem is, if you look, we're already, and I've talked to Gavin about this, we're SEAL heavy already. And it wasn't something we planned. It just kind of goes, part of you find a book or you saw
it's the tip of the spear, you know?
Yeah, it is. And so we want to make sure we have a diverse group. But yeah, I know Don's great. If you ever look at, I'm trying to think. He has those shows where he goes and I'm trying to think what's the word. Basically, he'll go and call out people who say they're a former SEAL.
Yeah, the
kind of stolen valor, but I think he has another name for it.
Yeah,
I think he had another name he called it, but yeah.
Cool. Gerard O'Connor's got to go. Good to see you, Gerard. Thanks for being here, my friend. And he says, wishing you all the success in the world, guys. Peace. I'm out.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Being here. And then Chris from Cutthroat is asking, Chad, do all these guys wear special eyeglasses when they're in the field? So we call it Eye Pro, which is eye protection. And it's specifically rated so they don't shatter. Basically, is what it is. Yeah, it's like shatterproof eyewear. That's what we wear. Some guys wear clear. Some guys wear smoke or some kind of black lenses. What you don't want to wear is polarized lenses, because polarized lenses you can't see wires. So trip wires, or they would run wires across the road, and then we would hit them, and they would get all spun up in our drive axles. And then we would drag like concrete blocks or whatever bullshit, tires, and but yeah, you don't want to wear polarized lenses. You just want to wear like smoke, or we call them smoke, or black lenses or clear lenses. And a lot of guys, me included, I would wear in a pouch on my kit, I would have clear lens glasses. And then at night I would just switch them out. So yeah, it's kind of how we roll. What about Nico Ortiz on YouTube? Is that guy who screams all the time and does all those shorts?
I think I've heard of him. No, I think he does breakdown videos. I could be wrong, but I think that's
not that former Combat Arms guy that's always screaming and he does like ridiculous shorts. I don't know.
Let me look. No, I think he's a younger guy, if I remember right.
I'm going to look it up too, because there's some guy on YouTube. I know he was Combat Arms and he is annoying as shit.
Oh, Nico's not who I thought. I recognize him, but no, we haven't talked about him.
Oh yeah, fuck that guy. That guy's annoying as shit. I don't care what he did in his career, more power to him, but I cannot. It sounds like cats in a blender listening to that guy's voice. So, I mean, if you like him, cool, but yeah, he's like a shorts guy. He's annoying as fuck. Anyway, yeah, that's him. I actually had a guy in 2012, that incident on September 14th, right after Benghazi, one of my guys took a rock because every freaking dude in the Middle East is like a Major League Baseball pitcher. He took a softball-sized rock right to his Oakley eye pro, and it bounced off his eye pro like it broke his orbit, but it didn't break his glasses. And he sent a picture of his face and the glasses to Oakley, and they sent him like a care package that was a ton of shit. It was awesome. We used to get care packages galore.
Hey, not to get sidetracked, but have you seen the Shane Gillis stand up about Navy SEAL? He talks about his girlfriend used to date a Navy SEAL, so what he does is tries to talk shit on him. But anyway, he talks about the Taliban and basically how they party. So.
Nice. Cutthroat's asking, when it comes to patches on the vest, do you have to be careful when you're making their military uniform look like their real photo?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, we don't own the rights to it, and so like the Marine Raider patch, I made my own mock-up of it. I drew. Just you got to be careful. I mean, actually, every one of these people I talk to say, "Oh, they're not going to care to do it," but I'm just like, well, we don't want to get in trouble. What we may do is offer as a decal later on, or throw it in as a freebie, or I don't know, something else, or talk to like that one there. I mean, that flag I did. It's a little bit different, which probably, again, will the military care? I mean, I talked to, Brian over there at Black Ops Toys, and he said, no, it's never been a problem in the past, but it is something we want to think about.
Our good friend Daredevil Dave and an awesome channel member is asking, where do I send my wallet? My house. Send it to me. Cool. All right. So yeah, there he is. There's his mock-up. There's his primary weapon. There's his sidearm. Is that a Glock?
It is. Yeah, that's what he said he carried. And by the way, ear pro can be removed also. So it's stuck on the helmet, but it can be popped off.
And that's the way a lot of guys wear Peltors, and that's why fast helmets have the rails on them, is because you can like move them down, you can move them back, you can just take them off. Peltors are fantastic.
I think with his, because we got the mic on there, that you don't want to put it on the back. But yeah, I've seen that where they'll put them back sometime and have a flashlight up above. But yeah.
Yep, that's my logo. Me just wearing Peltors and a freaking baseball hat, like whatever. You just roll it.
And you know what, Gavin, I forgot to do. So his helmet actually has a clip-on, like a skin that can be changed with camo. So if you saw, it's the same helmet as Eddie's, but with the other accessories, instead of having a bunch of holes that you'd plug stuff in, we decided to do like just a clip-on top, and you can remove it, and so you can get the same look of the half shell without that.
Very cool. Yeah, Eric's saying, loving it all. I am in love for the future of this line, gentlemen. Awesome.
Well, thank you, sir.
Stanley Haynes, is this Kickstarter or ordered from website which says 375?
That will all be updated. So we've done custom figures in the past, and it's always been 375. Actually, Gavin's the one who, if anybody on here has ordered those, Gavin's the one who paints those.
118 scale on card.
Yeah. We were using the Elite Force, and then we had new heads sculpted for them. Actually, if you got some of ours early on, they look pretty sketchy because we used the Elite Force heads, which look nothing like these guys, right? But then later on, we realized that we could have someone else create it. So,
yeah. And then here's the nods, just like you were talking about previously, right?
Yeah. So we have the 2 and the 4. The 4 might only be like in a gear pack. It just depends. I mean, who has those?
Cool. And Stanley said, awesome, I'm all in. Awesome. Very cool. And I saw several people, especially Chris from Cutthroat, talking about the camouflage on the rifle, on the primary weapon is what we call it. Yeah. And you notice that it's very unique to the individual if a weapon is painted and how the weapon is painted, because we're all allowed to paint our weapons. What they don't tell you is that when you go home, all that paint better be off that weapon. So it sucks. That's why a lot of guys don't paint their weapons. But.
if you see Cody, well, he's probably not very good pictures, but Cody had shown me some other photos of his, and it looks similar like that. Again, a lot of these guys, it looks like they just took a can and kind of went across.
Yeah, we just rattle can them. That's it. Yep. That's all you got to do. A lot of guys will take the camo netting and put it over a weapon. So you hit it with a lighter color, put the netting over, hit it with a darker. It's almost the same thing as camouflaging your face. Like you want darker colors on the raised parts of your face, lighter colors on the flatter parts. So yeah.
So yeah, that's one of those where, I mean, I'm a firearm guy, and we've talked about doing different things just for fun. Like I have, I mean, it's professionally done, but like a woodland Cerakoted rifle. But I grew up a farm kid, and so we thought about we go back to the farm and we can mess around with them and do that. But we have not done it, but I've seen a lot of those guys do. Leaves, sometime they'll put on there, or foliage. What kind of paint? There you go, Gavin.
Acrylic, and the brand is Vallejo.
Hell yeah, dude.
Or Viejo.
You know what's up. Yeah. Slam God has got to cut out. Must continue learning to make a living in mechanical engineering. Very cool. I'm potentially waiting for the announcement of the Kickstarter, or however you proceed. It's going to be a Kickstarter, and it'll be soon.
Probably going to be late July. We think if we push it back a month, that'll give us enough time. And again, the main holdup is for anybody who hasn't heard, we have some animation videos that actually have been in the works. And that will probably come afterward, but we have it's all going to be CGI, but then we're also adding insurgents. Originally, we only had one guy, and then we thought, wait a minute, let's make sure we have these ready to go. So we have, I mean, I don't know exactly how many, Gavin. I mean, maybe 4 or 6, maybe probably more. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do. Those are also based on real people, but it's going to be more of a loose likeness. So that way, again, we don't look like we're trying to pay homage to those guys.
Gotcha. Alex S., thank you for the channel membership very much. I greatly appreciate it, my friend. And then Andrew M. says, my team leader just wrapped his weapon in camo tape. Yeah, a lot of people will do stuff like that. Bill is saying, my call sign when I was a transit cop was Toucan because it was half Mexican, half American, 2 cans. I love this line, where's the ATM?
That's pretty clever.
And then Sir T. Baggins, will you sell gear packs? Like for us who kit bash plate carriers and such. G.I. Joe.
Yeah. Hey, that's thankful. My son is more in tune with that. He's the one, saying, hey, we got to have this stuff ready. So,
There you go.
So that's the first 4 guys without their gear. So you can see how they look. Again, I'll tell you, the most difficult thing is trying to make them aesthetically pleasing without the gear as you do with. And we used actually 2 main designers. The first guy, Esteban, and then he's one who has fists. So when he got busy, he did the 1/18 scale, but when he got busy, went to Joel. And I have a problem. I don't think perfectionist is the right word. Maybe it's tinker, but trying to get things right. And so we went back and forth on a lot of them, and this is where they are now. So
cool.
For the base figure. So this, when the Kickstarter launches, again, probably late July, this will be the base offering. We have one other guy where we just started messaging we might add. He's a Green Beret. It'd be a multi-cam uniform, a little bit different than Nick's. So otherwise, it'll be this 4 right here.
Nice. Hi. Hang out for a second.
She's probably wondering what's going on.
Oh, neat.
All right, here we go. Just like Sean Ryan, if you like to listen to podcasts, Mike Ritland, I mean, he has the mic drop, one of the best out there. For a guy who is untrained journalism, his humor, I mean, everything, I mean, makes that such a good podcast.
Yeah, yours jumped in here.
Yeah, right there, yeah. So Mike, former Navy SEAL, dog handler, he's a dog trainer now. We donate to the Warrior Dog Foundation, which he started. Trying to think what else. Team Dog is one of his companies, Tricos. You've probably heard of his stuff out there.
Very cool. Oh, look, you're getting all the ma'ams. Ma'am. Daredevil had to go. Curb Stomp had to go. That's cool. Appreciate you guys very much. Hi, Odie.
Yeah.
So this is a stretch goal.
Oh, look at that dog.
Cute.
We're trying to figure out how to squeeze all of it in there. It actually has another head. So this is kind of the growling head. It also has a friendlier head where you can actually move the jaw. So one dog, 2 head versions, and then Mike and his gear right there. So this, again, will be a deluxe figure as a stretch goal.
Flack Happy is asking how much time left I might have to leave. We're winding it down. We're getting there. That's a good looking rifle there.
That old ACOG, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Again, hey, for anybody who didn't hear, that stock is adjustable. Magazine comes out, and all the suppressor should be able to fit on it. He does not come with the suppressor, but suppressor will fit on that.
That dog looks awesome. Yeah, super cool. Here he is, Clint Emerson X-Ray.
This is one of my most intriguing. This is pretty cool. So if you check out our Instagram page, you'll see, if you swipe through the photos, you'll see there's actually a setup. Actually, I don't know if it still is. They may have taken it, but his mask in the Yemeni outfit on the left was in the not Navy SEAL, Spy Museum. I'm sorry. The Spy Museum in Washington, D.C., and there's a big setup. But if you've ever heard of 100 Deadly Skills, that book or those episodes, or what else he's done, he's written several books, but this mask is really like a Mission Impossible, but it's real. It's what they call a 5-second mask.
Yep.
So
yeah, and you can see his real skin right there under the mask.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. To me, but again, it's all a diversion, right? Yep. He said for that, he walked in, it was like a single white guy walked into a hotel. Basically, they were working at the FBI to show how well their mask would work. And he said he walked out, had a girlfriend, and he was a black guy. And he said, I believe it was like a 19 or 22 man FBI surveillance team. He said, we worked like a charm, fooled all of them. So pretty cool story. I don't remember if I think I shared photos with you, Chad, or someone else. He has the mask on the right. He has that in his office at home.
I saw it in the case. Yeah. Ken's Toys is saying it would be a good idea to reach out to online toy stores like Hella Dope and Nerdzoic and offer them a retail package.
Yeah, that's our goal with them. We just, again, wanted to make sure we had everything done, all the mock-ups, so that way they could actually see everything we had.
Rad. Yep. So there's X-Ray right there. That's awesome. The masks, that's amazing.
So this will be the other deluxe figure set we've talked about. So you'd have Clint's head. I think we'd probably have to do his head on both bodies. I talked to Joel about giving like a different facial expression on the other one. That part is not done yet. So that's why you'll see in the middle what his head was. And again, people who weren't on earlier, he's a former Navy SEAL Team 6 guy. And so we've also talked about, I mean, if you Google Clint Emerson Navy SEAL, you'll see he was in the old DCU camo. Maybe later on do a figure like that, but this was what we thought would be pretty cool to start out.
Real life Zartan.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Ethan Hunt, right? Man of many talents.
That's totally awesome.
So the goal, again, if this works out, is it will be like a snap-on or a clip-on from the top. The eyes will have cutouts. So it may look like a hot mess when it's on. It may look a little bit larger than what it should to scale, but it's just because we want that mask to be able to fit on and kind of go with, the look of it.
That's rad.
And the one on the left has an MP7. You can't really see it, but
right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. And on the right, it's a suppressed, I think, SIG P226, maybe. I think that's what it is. Yeah, he didn't tell us that he carried that SIG, but we just thought, hey, make sure each figure can have a firearm.
Awesome. Yeah, people are loving these figures. My good friend Cato's here. Good to see you, Cato. And I got to hit this. Dash of Life sends a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Dash of Life, and says all the figures look great.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for the super chat. And yeah, absolutely, they do. They really, really do.
I'm kind of long-winded, so if anybody has questions for Gavin, let's put him to work. Throw him his way. He knows his dad talks too much.
Oh, look, a Belgian Malinois.
There we go.
Mine's running around here somewhere.
She's right here. She's under my legs.
Oh.
There you go. So you think Timber, it should have pretty close to the same articulation as Timber, except we have 2 heads. And then again, the jaw on the left sculpt is on a hinge. Yep. So it can move. Yep.
That's rad. Defiant Outer Rim Station says, awesome figures. First time here. Dude, thanks for coming for the first time. I really appreciate it. Welcome.
Yeah,
welcome, and thanks for being here.
See, we got a little baby. We got one right here.
Yep, there she is. Yeah. Cato said, missed you last night on 3POA. I missed you guys too, but I was with the ma'am, and we were doing our thing. So, yeah.
Yep.
Eric says, amazing articulation. Yeah.
We hope. I'm always very cautious, right? When it comes to this, we want to make sure we can work at the factory and hold them to what they said they can do. So
Yep.
once we get prototypes, actual prototypes, we'll make sure we can show all that.
Yeah, and then Bill said, "Here's my paycheck." Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah. Yeah. These guys they're eating this stuff up. Where's Hermione? Hermione Granger?
That's our cat's name, Hermione.
Oh, okay. My bad. Yeah. That's a good name for a cat. Yeah. Where's Hermione? Wesley says, "I like the dogs. If dogs are up to order, I might be in."
Yep. So if you also, again, we talked about the operation packs. I can't remember. I believe on Operation Neptune Spear, what the heck was that guy's dog's name? I'm drawing a blank here. I believe it was a Belgian that they brought on that also.
Cool. Shall we move on?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're looking something up, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. Go ahead. I'm just trying to remember what the name of his dog was. Cairo. Cairo is the dog. He wrote.
Yeah, Cairo. Yeah. Marcus Butler put it in there. Cairo.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Jason Evangelista is asking, are the Belgian Malinois going to be sold separately as well?
Not in the beginning. It's going to be with Mike. But again, I mean, we're not going to shut the door on anything. And the biggest thing that helps us out is feedback, right? What do people
want? And that's smart, because you don't want to do what the big corporates do and fricking leave money on the table. And so it's cool that you guys are open to that stuff. So, yeah. All right. So here's here you go. Sir T. Baggins is asking Gavin, do you have any particular figure or kit bash you've been working on or did that you're really fond of from the line?
Not really, but I used to like paint designs on stormtroopers and add like military vests and stuff on those. But
you know, it's funny, if you would have asked him 3 years ago, he'd probably sound a lot more enthusiastic. After hand painting, custom painting figures for, actually it's been 4 years now.
Yeah,
he told me he's ready.
Painting.
I think at one point he told me he's getting a carpal tunnel from doing it too much.
Yeah. Van Morrissey says, okay, now give me some time, need to remortgage the house. Eric says we need armor packs for the dogs. And then here's a good question from Pokey. Will the dog articulation be similar to what Hasbro's done with classified animals?
Yeah,
you had mentioned.
Yeah, I think I have timber. We kind of based upon that. That's what we told them. We said, hey, we want to do this. And then I'm trying to think, Marauders has a dog. I think theirs is a shepherd. Marauders have one at the 1/18 scale too. So did that.
And then Mikey from J&K Custom Works says, I love where you guys are going with this line. It's outstanding. Also a big fan of the father-son team up. I love to see that.
Yeah. Well, hey, just like him.
Like you would, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know, I grew up, I'll say real quick, I grew up a farm kid in Kansas. I used to get pissed off having to work so much. And I remember there's some days I wanted off and my mom would say, oh, go out there. Your dad wants you to, work with them. It's not until you become a father yourself, right? Do you understand that? Where part of the reason I was working wasn't because there was a job that needed to be done, but it's because, my dad wanted us out there. And that's the way this is. It's been fun. Even though we butt heads like we never would have at times, trying to make decisions, at the same time, it's been a blast.
Sorry, my dog keeps trying to jump up. Yeah, and then Fantasia Workshop says, I have the Marauders dog. It's awesome. Yeah, I have several of them. So
yeah.
And then Kansas represent.
Right on, yeah. We live in Florida now, but I grew up in the northwest corner.
Yeah, I spent a good chunk of my childhood in Florida. So, all right. So here's the articulation. If you guys want to touch on that, or
yeah, everybody who likes classified Action Force is going to be very similar. I don't want to speak to their line to know exactly what they are, but the shoulder swivels. Our neck has the forward back and also has the actual neck itself is a ball and socket where it'll be able to rotate. And as we're talking about the sniper, the goal of that again is to help with that upward looking. Toes. Oh, we added a toe joint. Not too many people do that. It is ratcheted. We don't want it to get loose. And so it is going to be in there at least. So hopefully posing right, like they're doing a little QCB that they can go in there and
Right.
stand and pose like that.
A lot of people love
CQB.
articulated toes, so that's cool. I got this Malinois just like sleeping at my feet. She's just chilling. And then Pokey says, "Oh, a double hinge toe joint." Yep.
Oh.
Cool. All right. Stretch goal. Insurgent.
Yeah, I think during our call, I think Joel, my guy's painting some of these. So I'm not going to put in writing, but if you look at Zawakari, that's kind of a loose look of how he looked. So
Ma'am and I are over here going, ugh.
She did?
No,
Yeah.
we're both just like, ugh.
So long
It
now.
looks accurate. We're just gonna say that because I pointed right here and I said to the ma'am, I said, "Look at this motherfucker."
Well, again,
Ryan
we
loves
were
feet.
Ryan loves feet. Yeah, we were hesitant, and it was again one of those where, all right, we want to make sure we're not trying to put these people up on a pedestal. I mean, even the veterans, right? It's more of a respect thing. And when I messaged Clint, I said, "What do you think of bad guys?" He goes, "Yeah, we need those. Make sure you do them." So, or he didn't say make sure you do them, but he's like, "Yeah, no problem." So, we want to do them. We have, I think, 4 to 6 probably about done. And I'll tell you, long term, I mean, UBL, if we did like an Operation Neptune Spear, include him with some SEALs, that would be pretty cool. World War II, now we won't go that far and, do some of those scumbags, but, we think for this. Who's this guy?
Oh, no.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. So for people who don't know, and no, Chad did not come to me asking for this. We met Chad a year ago, Joe Fest. Actually, beforehand, he started sharing our stuff. And we thought, how cool is it for actual veteran who's into toys? Because most of these guys we do, they appreciate it, but it's not something they're into. And so when we discovered Chad and, being 20 years active doing that, I reached out to him and I said, "Chad, do you care? Can we add you on here?" And so, that's the plan right there. More due to body type with the molds. He's a stretch goal, but wearing his, I guess I'll say multicam, but we won't put that down because, again, that's a trademark name. But showed me some pictures of him in his gear, and we want him in it. So
Is there
Someone
more?
wants to know your call sign.
no, I think. Oh, here we go. So this is that's probably the last one. That's Xerxes. Is that right?
Yeah, it's Xerxes. Yeah,
All right.
that's it. No flavor saver. Because somebody asked way back at the beginning of the show, "Oh, hey, because everyone's like, you're going to do a figure, Chad? You're going to do a figure, Chad? Is he going to have his flavor saver?" And I didn't know. So,
Well, I thought it was pretty cool. I was watching one of your shows, and I don't remember if someone mentioned us. No, I think someone just said, "Hey, we need someone to do real military veterans." And someone said, "Yeah, they need to do one of Chad." And someone had sent you like a retirement, like a small one. And you and I we had just started, I think, discussing. And I thought, all right, how cool is that other people are, asking about that too. Yeah, ball cap. We'll work with Chad and make sure we got his gear, what we want, or not what we want, but what he wants. And then,
yeah. So for everybody who's still hanging out, like Ryan and I talked about this at length. Like I sent numerous pictures of my kit, like on the floor, front, back, all this. Yeah. And you showed me the hat. So yeah.
And I made sure when we were doing the head sculpt, he's like, "Yeah, it looks good." I said, "Ask your wife." I said, "Wives always know the best, right?" So I said, "Get her opinion on it too." And I can't remember if we changed anything at that point. But again, our guy, Joel, if you want to buy custom heads, he has Headhunters Customs is his shop. You throw that out there. Good dude, great person. And he's the one who did this.
Does my figure come with actually action? Yes.
You squeeze the legs and the arms go up.
Yeah. Just Jeff, my good friend Jeffy, sends a $5 super chat. Thank you, Jeff, and says, "Because you have to read this, Chad needs to rock that Picard for better accuracy. I'm so getting my ass kicked in 10 days. Yeah, you are. Yeah. Look, I have hair, dude. You can freaking see it. Granted, it's short, but yeah, I shaved my head my entire military career. Just had a shaved head. Yeah. There it is.
So,
There are
yeah,
still 121 of us enjoying this. Very cool.
All
And then
right.
Greg says that CubeTube needs an advanced copy of this Chad head sculpt.
What's the cube tube?
Oh, that's Quentin Bedwell for Action Farm.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I messaged him after you referred me to him.
Yep.
With the smirk, yeah, the Chad logo. Hey,
Whatever. It's, whatever. I don't, yeah.
don't close the door on anything.
Look at
Hair.
I have hair. Stop it, bunch of jerks. Anyway, let's move off of this. So there it is.
Yeah, so we didn't talk about, but I put in here, someone asked about Benghazi on the far left. That is Tonto. So
Tonto,
you can look online. If you put Chris Pronto or Tonto and then put Army Ranger, you'll see him in some tiger stripe. I believe he was training partner forces, but we wanted to add a vest. And so a lot of his mock-up training videos, he has that kind of olive green or olive drab vest on. So we put that on there. I don't have here, but he's got his AR with the collapsible stock. He's going to have that stock. The far right, Sean Ryan. He was actually our number one selling custom we did. It blew up. I mean, I was blown away. We launched him, and it was pretty cool. Again, for 1 month for figure where we donate the money. I mean, he was the biggest. We did a custom. If you look at Sean online, you'll see he painted his face. There's a couple times like a red, white, and a blue, or a red, black, and white. I don't know if that head would come with this figure. Gavin gets tired of me talking about exclusives too often, but I think if we did something and offered a separate exclusive with just a young head look, that would be something to do with that painted face.
That's rad.
So yeah, so we got a lot more in this. We're gonna slowly put some out there. Someone asked about Marpat. We have Dakota, Medal of Honor recipient. We're gonna do him. Actually, that mock-up is done. Pretty much just needed to add it. So Dakota Meyer. There's a lot of other guys. Actually, Kyle Carpenter we get requests for. The only problem is trying to be careful that we can offer customers different things, right? So if everybody's in the same camo, it's not going to be as cool. Kyle Carpenter, every picture I saw quite a bit, or mostly he was wearing the Marpat camo. So I haven't talked to him, so we don't know, if he'd want to anyway.
Pokey, if you go back to earlier in the show, we discussed Pat Tillman. So I don't know if you want to ping on that again, but
yeah, probably more than likely not going to do. I actually, he was one of the ones originally we did do as a custom. I did a short stint with the Arizona Cardinals. It was right after Pat left. And so again, his teammates, thought really highly of him, leaving what he could have had, another multi-million-dollar paycheck. And the thing about Pat, people don't realize, not only did he give that up, but other than just football, man, that guy was like in the community. That guy did a lot for other people. So people know football and Army Ranger. It was a lot bigger than that. So we mistakenly did one in the very beginning. It was just a custom. And we painted some up, sold, I don't know. We sold just a few of them, and we donated all the money because we hadn't heard back later on anyway. Actually, if you go back and listen to the beginning of this video, you'll hear the whole shindig on that.
Yeah. Andrew, Ryan, and Gavin they're totally aware about camo patterns and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I know you guys did extensive research in camo patterns.
Well, I grew up a farmer, right? We had the old woodland was everywhere out there, and Simpson, obviously, like the AOR1, the AOR2, or the Navy working uniform. I didn't know the names of those. No, to me, it was digital, right? But, over the last 4 years, we've learned quite a bit. But I am a firearms guy. I grew up with firearm. I know quite a bit about those. Actually, I collect older ones. And so a lot of that we know from what we have. So actually, just kidding, right, Gavin? We don't have any firearms. No, I always tell them you deny it, right? If your friends ask, no, we don't.
There are no blasters in this house.
We do not like them.
Sir T. Baggins, what about generic masked heads for Army building a pattern style?
Yeah, that's what Chad and I talked about before this call. It's not set in the mock-ups yet, but it may be something we offer with each of these guys to give a generic head also, or do a generic head pack. So that way, if you're not a fan of these guys or you just want a different look, we want to make sure we have something else to offer.
Yeah. And then Chris from Cutthroat was saying, so are we saying 150 for all figures for the first wave then?
Well, we don't have it set up right now because, again, it's 4 figures. It may end up being 5 just to get the Kickstarter. And then after that, God, we probably have 20 or 30 people lined up pretty much. So it just depends. I mean, if people are really into it and it keeps going, I mean, we have more, we'll keep offering. So
yeah. Oh yeah. You got tons of people to choose from. Pokey says, we all know a head pack would definitely sell. True. Agreed. Yep.
Make sure I remember to write down here. Again, criticism. We have thick skin, so you like it, you love it. Anything you think we should change, you're not going to hurt our feelings. So let us know.
Yeah, and again, for everybody who's still here hanging out, thank you guys for staying past the 2-hour mark. I know hella dope's going, and people have lives, but a lot of people were asking about Patriot Force. Ryan and I have been talking at length about Patriot Force, and we wanted to do this to just get it out there so everybody could get all the info that you might have questions about. And it's
so the goal is to have the Kickstarter launch page open within the next couple of weeks, and then probably a month after that. I was going to say ideally 2 months maybe, but no, we don't want to get into school season, so probably a month later is when the go live date will be.
What about Girl Scout headgear?
So my cousin was 82nd Airborne.
Yeah, and we called them Girl Scouts anyway.
Yeah, hey, I mean, we would love to do those too. We don't have any mock-ups done yet, nothing that far. I mean, we do have a beret, so we could, do the red or do the tan, but right now it's the green.
Actually, Mython, it's maroon. Thank you. Yeah, it is a maroon beret. Or Girl Scouts. And then Sir T. Baggins, any officer attire like dress blues and greens. We kind of talked on that too.
Yep, down the road, we want to do that. Want to do all of them. So again, I was saying I have one of my cousins is still active, and we talked about, man, how cool it would be if we could do the dresses with different skin tones and offer them on, Army and Air Force bases. So that would be, I'd say, a big hairy goal, right? To be able to see those on there.
Here's a good question from Comrade Bobcat. Any plans to do anybody like generals or something like that? David Petraeus or anybody, Mad Dog Mattis.
Yeah. We haven't talked about those, Gavin, for any new. World War II patent, right? I mean, Eisenhower, MacArthur. There's a lot of them that we'd like to do. I'll tell you, if you want to see a good sculpt, look at Fresh Monkey Fiction. They have that Monster Force, that general. I mean, that's a clean looking sculpt. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think they're probably still in pre-order, but I mean, that's a good one. So
Flack Happy said, don't tell my wife, I'll take one of each. MacArthur, we already talked about World War II-ish stuff and things like that. And then Fred F, any plans to make neck pegs compatible with other lines? You touched on that as well.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the measurements of those, but ours are to fit. I'm gonna be lying to you if I knew exactly what head it was, but it might have been Outback had them fit against. But again, I put it on Action Force body, and it was pretty snug. Mine was just a 3D printed, so is it exactly compatible? I don't know.
Yeah,
we want to be close. I mean, but there's enough toy lines that use their own sizes that you kind of just have to pick something and go with it.
Yeah, they are definitely not all a one size fit all kind of thing.
But yes, all of ours, yeah, we want to be the same. Pararescue, by the way, sorry, I'm reading that first. We got a TAC P already. That's not pararescue, I know, but yeah, actually, a friend of mine, actually a guy who lives in my town here, he owns a coffee shop. Yeah, he was former pararescue. Thought it'd be cool to do a figure.
Yep.
And we all know the John Medal of Honor recipient recently.
Yeah. Mython, they did touch on this. We talked about the 60th anniversary Action Soldier, and yes, that's a thing. It's a big point of concern for Patriot Force.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Greg says, and this was in relation to when we were showing the insurgent guys or whatever. For your jacket, robe, and skirt overlays, I would highly advise looking into really pliable ones that allow wider articulation and allow for lower profile add-on to the figure, Jada and McFarlane, for example.
Yeah, I said insurgents are going to be a little bit trickier. They do have, like, if you look at the skirt, they do have slits down the side. And Landon, I was talking to Invincible Toy. He actually gave me a good idea to have them overlap, so that way the front actually overlaps the back. So if you want to put them in a different pose, you're not going to see a big gap and see, you know, the legs sticking out. Maybe you'll still have the skirt still covering the front and back. So that one's still up in the air. If any of them, we have. I mean, if you Google Taliban blood unit or red unit, that's another one that we've been working on. Probably one of the first ones because they all have the face coverings, and so you know it's an easier one to do. Google Taliban, Al Qaeda leaders. You may see a few resemblances, you know, once ours is launched. But again, it's going to be more of a loose resemblance.
Yeah. And the sandals smelling like freaking Cheetos. Ugh. Anyway,
Well, we got cheetahs too. Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah, we have the service. One of the shoes we have for the Taliban are the service cheetahs. So if you look at those pictures and you see those white shoes with the yellow and green on the side that they wear, or a black version, yeah, we have that. I think it might even be on our Instagram page, but I can't remember.
Yeah, for everybody hanging out, please go look at all the links for Patriot Force in the description of the video. They're all there. Instagram, the website, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
James Lucas, you had already answered this. Medics.
Yeah, we have. I mean, some of them have like a kit on it, right? They'll have the medic pouch.
Yeah. And then Sir T. Baggins is asking, do you have an idea of lifeline of figures before they are retired, then move on to the next thing? Like how long would a figure be available before you moved on to, say, a second wave or something like that?
I think that's going to depend upon customers. Depend upon if you got a figure that's kicking ass and everybody wants to keep, you know, ordering, I think it'd only behoove us to try to keep offering it. And the other thing is, again, as long as we can offer it for each of these guys, then it'll go, you know, it'll give them something and, you know, back their foundation. Do we eventually want to do some generic army builders, or have we talked about that? Yeah, definitely want to do that too. Yeah. So no, I mean, again, we are, you know, I've ran different businesses. This is a new one, right? Business is business. You know, you each bring your different skills, but we also have to rely on a lot of other people. And when you're in the hands of the factory and their production, you know, there's a lot of moving parts to be able to answer that this early on.
I actually like the fact that you're using the fist.
The factory down there.
Yeah, the fist factory versus, you know, the one in China that all these lines are using, because they're all backed up. And,
they are, yeah. And that's we talked to him it's been a couple of years now, and it was right in the height of COVID. And I work in I won't go into detail, but healthcare industry, and a lot of our stuff is made over there in China. And I'm telling you, the relationship with them it's an odd one at times. They can commandeer, I mean, whatever they want. So
yep. And then Comrade Bobcat, yes, he already answered this, and the answer is yes for partner forces in the future.
Yeah, like Russians, we've discussed that. We don't have any mock-ups, but again, I looked at Gavin. He's in tune with a lot of these different militaries, different camos, the names of them. I mean, he has his notebook where it's all written down. So.
I want to do like someone in snow gear too.
Oh yeah,
probably.
Up there in the tundra, frozen tundra.
Yep.
So pre-orders won't sell out. It's going to be Kickstarter. So, you know, we'll run the numbers if we make our goal, and then obviously there's a certain percent you're going to have to order on top of that. So that way you have enough, because again, I'm learning as I go, and we have people who've worked in the industry for years that are helping us with this. I'm not too proud to go out and get help or get guidance from those guys. And so, you know, we're going to listen to them quite a bit too.
Yeah. And, you know, the cool thing about a lot of those people is that they're open to all that stuff too, you know, sharing knowledge and, you know, lessons learned and things like that. You know, some of these lessons are learned the hard way or the expensive way. And
well, they all are. Right?
People are, you know, they're
either time or money. I'm telling you, our budget on this, I mean, I couldn't put a number to it right now, but change after change after change where, you know, you have to go back. And again, when we have different sculptors, we have different people doing the work on the figures.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, they deserve to get, you know, paid. So,
well, and even going back, you know, 6-9 months ago, you and I were talking about bucks. Like you were sending me pictures of bucks, and you were like, "Well, do you think it looks too muscular? Does it not look like a shirt?" Da da da. And you know, we would back forth a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. And they probably look quite a bit different from then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Pokey's asking, do trademarks still apply for foreign camos?
Probably, but that's why everything we do is
right. Aren't they copyrights, not trademarks?
Yeah, the name would be trademark, but yeah, the design would be copyright. So everything's going to be our own design. I mean, if you look at this, I'm going to use I'll say Navy working uniform. No, it's going to be different because it's actually hand done. You know, these camos once it gets to the factory. So
these camos look amazing. They look amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, a digital is a digital, right? There's not one company that owns, you know, a patent on a digital design. There's several companies that do it.
Yeah, and he said either way, I'm in. So that's cool. Jason Evangelista is asking, any frogman / scuba outfits?
Yeah, that's down the road. I see Gavin smile because that's something we've talked about too.
Yeah.
You know, the old frogmen too, the old UDT.
UDTs,
Yeah. So anybody who hasn't, you know, wasn't on earlier, we're starting with Afghanistan, Iraq war. We already have, actually, for your 90s, we have some of those mock-ups done. Our goal, you know, Gavin's a big World War II buff. Actually, we both are. We would love to keep going back and do more. Whether it would jump to Vietnam or jump right to World War II, it kind of depends upon what people want.
Very cool. Yeah. You got, are you guys looking at anything? Operation Restore Hope? Somalia?
Yeah, but was that the same as Gothic Serpent or afterwards? Same thing? Yeah. So we have, I hear Task Force Ranger. I hear a lot of things. So Tom Satterley, he was actually there involved in the Black Hawk Down incident. We all talked about. He's the one we make a custom of. And by the way, anybody who wants a custom, I'll tell you, they cost a lot more than what these are because they're all hand painted, and we give away 50% of the profit. But if you do want a custom, you know, they're going to be limited. So I think the 10th actually is that tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day we're going to have those on the website. We put 30% off at checkout for anybody who wants those, but customs are different, right? He paints these customs as orders come in. So I would say it's a week or two before we get those out.
Yeah.
But Tom is done. His head sculpt's done. Everything's done. If this is successful, we do want to work backwards and do that.
Yeah. So Gothic Serpent was a mission, right? It was a mission as part of. So you have Operation Enduring Freedom, right? Operation Iraqi Freedom. Those are the overall operations of the war, right? So the war in Somalia was called Operation Restore Hope. That's what Somalia was under. Now, when it moved from direct action to support, they changed it from Operation Restore Hope to Operation Continuing Hope.
Okay, right.
Just like OIF to Operation Inherent Resolve. That's they just changed names of shit.
Desert Shield, Desert Storm. I mean, I see they do that. Yeah, often. What was Task Force Ranger? Maybe this is a lesson you can give people.
Task Force Ranger. It was part of Restore Hope.
Got it.
Yeah, it was all multinational and weird, and you had people living at the port, and then you had people living in the old soccer stadium, and that's where like mostly 10th Mountain and a lot of the multinational like partner forces was going on, and the whole thing was just it was a shit show. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, if you guys
we're gonna call it what it is.
You guys have heard of they call it Mogadishu Mile. Tom Satterley is actually one of those guys that had to hightail it over there to the stadium. So talk about
I have partaken in several Mogadishu miles. They are not fun, and it's a lot of fireman carry and buddy carry and litter carry and carrying water cans and ammo cans, and it sucks. And they're throwing pyro at you, and no good. You know what? Just a Christian kid has a question for Gavin. What is your favorite toy?
Star Wars, probably. I'm really into Star Wars.
Or was. We kind of laugh about that because when we started this, he was still into that, right? Now, you know, it's become more of a hobby, more of a, hey, our goal of creating something and giving, you know, back to, I'm going to say this too often. I don't mean to beat the dead horse, but it does feel good to be able to give back to these people, you know, or their foundations that they support. So.
Fantasia Workshop has some feedback for you. Your logo is freaking awesome. There you go.
Well, thank you.
That took a while to figure out what our logo would be.
Yeah,
It's a
that
good
was
logo.
funny. We already had this, and then it was funny. Because again, it was just kind of custom in the beginning. We took like the Top Gun logo and changed it. You know, and it looked like hell. It didn't look good at all, but it was like had this like, holy cow, man, we already have this. Why don't we just use this eagle?
The Top Gun logo, like Maverick's tail art, that one.
Yeah.
Question for you, Ryan, from Cutthroat Comics. Do the vests come off like the Valaverse vests?
Yeah, all gear comes off. Belts do. I don't know if you want to go back a couple of photos. He can show him where, at least the guys in the Cry Precision combat uniforms, you can see them without their gear on.
Yep, right there.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah. No battle belts, no nothing. Yeah.
And the other guys have button down, right? Almost like your old BDUs. And so those uniforms, same thing. That's what Sean Ryan has. And I think Chris Toronto.
Flack Happy is asking, which is the hardest to paint?
Multicam, maybe.
That's like 8 different paints, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yep.
I just know because the jars are all numbered back there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. Awesome. And then Nico Tronis says, sorry, that's awesome. We're all surrounded by greatness. Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull this down now. And I'm going to, yeah. Sweet. Any chance of international military uniforms, like Australian camo?
Yeah, not in the beginning, not on this Kickstarter. We're focused on U.S. And I say that at the same time. I've talked to Dean. I thought, I have no idea how this is going to go, right? We may not hit our goal, and then we'll, regroup and we'll take another kick at it later on, or we may just do the funding ourselves down the road. If it looks like it's close, maybe that's what we do, and you save the Kickstarter fees. But if it got big enough and we offered Dean Stott, it's not going to be really how he wore his SBS gear. Afterward, he's been on a couple of shows, and actually there's a new show coming out this summertime where he's the host. And so it might be Special Forces or something. If you Google Dean Stott, S-T-O-T-T, good dude. And he wore all black for one of those shows. And so we thought, all right, not quite the snake eyes, but we may have one guy in all black, and it'd be the same as those initial guys. It'd be that kind of that Cry Precision uniform.
It's like in First Blood Part 2 when Rambo first comes out of the hangar and he's wearing that all black BDUs, and I'm like, why is there not a Rambo figure of that? He looks so good like that, but never got it. Whatever. What about females?
Yep. Down the road. One of those where you don't want to blow your load, in one Kickstarter here. So.
No, yeah, because too much, too soon, too expensive. People just bleh. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot to do, and actually, there's been a couple ladies I've messaged back and forth. One of them actually, Tonto put me in touch with was Jessica Lynch, and so if anybody remembers her story, very humble person. Yeah, if you read her story, in the beginning again, it's what our military, the propaganda does. They made the story one thing and then find out it's something else, and she owned it. If you look at her, I mean, she said, no, did. Yeah. What really happened. Yeah. So I have not talked to her too much. Again, we have email exchanges, and that's where we are.
Yeah. And then Eric's saying, what about Soviet women from World War II? Again, not looking at World War II yet at all.
Look, if we're in business in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, I mean, yeah, sky's the limit.
I'm excited to see where this line goes. I keep looking over because it's still up on my other screen, but I am really excited to see where this line's going to go. Obviously, I'm all for it, right? That cat's already out of the bag, but
yeah, I told you, I was like, I don't think we want to announce that until we actually meet our goal. But then I thought, you know what? I mean, you're well known enough. I mean, people know you. This is what you're into, and so that's why I snuck that on there today. So
I was a little surprised today when I went forward, and there it was. I was like, oh, just go back, but it was too late. It was already there. So yeah, cool. Right on. Anybody have any further questions before we call it? Mython's saying, so Chad, you collecting 6-inch figures? I have a bunch, Mython. Come on, cut that shit out. We already know that.
Well, I told Chad, I was like, man, if we actually do 1/18 scale, yeah, we got to include him in that because that's his forte. That's what we see behind him there.
Yeah.
So.
And I've got a couple 1/18 scale customs that people have made. Matt LaCroix, the amazing action figure designer, he made. James Lucas, this freaking guy right here, sent me a retirement gift. He had Matt LaCroix, Strike Force Alpha, right? All his customs. He made a custom Xerxes figure just for me in the Strike Force Alpha aesthetic, and it's gorgeous.
Was that the one you had as a gift that you held up on the show? Yeah.
Yep.
But by the way, back to Strike Force Alpha, I was telling you, when Gavin and I first went to that first Joe Fest.
Should have led with the Chad figure. No. Sorry, go ahead. When Gavin and you were saying?
No, but by the way, he's right. Maybe we should bump that uniform up to the beginning. But when we first went to Joe Fest 2021, we saw all these Force. We thought, what the hell did we do?
Yeah.
Patriot Force, Strike Force, Action Force, Eagle Force.
Yep.
It was it's something.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Kickstarter is not live. You had said kind of rough estimate when?
Probably going to be late July. We originally said June 22nd because we're going to be at Joe Fest. And we thought, how cool would it be to go live there? But we're adding a lot more to it. Actually, we weren't going to include the insurgents, the terrorists. We're going to call them insurgents on the line, but we weren't going to include them. We decided, hey, let's add those. The other thing is, I don't know if people have looked at our Instagram. We have other things we've looked at, or we've had a trading card set kind of in limbo, not in limbo, but we teased it. We got some autographed promo cards from some of these people, but our goal was like, okay, what is offered for your sports stars? How can we, offer that for veterans? Trading card set, coloring book, comic book line, video, obviously the figures. There's quite a bit. There's more that we don't want to really let the cat out of the bag yet, but
yeah. And the trading card set fits because, like those of us who have been operational, we had decks of cards with all the HVTs and HVIs and all the Bolo guys, right? So high value target, that's obviously a target, right? And then high value, I'm saying this for everyone. And then high value individuals, that's kind of a detained question, right? Sort of a thing or whatever. And then Bolos are your be on the lookouts. So yeah, we always had decks of cards of people, and like we would put cards up on the windshields of the trucks and be like, I'm looking for this fucking guy and I'm looking for this piece of crap. And we would have their cards up and all the time because sometimes you'd see them, they're just sitting on the side of the road drinking tea, doing nothing.
Well, and I'll tell you the Saddam Hussein. I had a guy reach out who was actually right there when they got him, showed me pictures of him. It's cool doing this. We've actually, you hear a lot of cool stories.
Santa Claus down in his spider hole.
Oh, it's crazy. The guy sent me photos when he's still down in there. And I was like, how'd you get these? And he's like, I was there. I was like, no, you're kidding me.
So good.
And this is before I heard Tom Satterley's story. And he said, the funny thing is Delta Force thought they were going to be the ones to get him. And he said, we actually, stumbled upon him when they weren't there. And so Tom Satterley talks about that. Yeah, we looked for him, we took off, and then we found out they caught him and, came back. So.
I got nothing but love for the Delta guys, right? But a lot of them, they love to stand around and lift weights in the sun and go in the chow hall in their freaking shower shoes and shit, and their bro headbands. They all wear bro headbands, and so whatever. What about crew serves?
Crew serve. What's crew serve? The weapon system.
M240, etc. Things like that. Open bolt machine guns. Crew serve weapons.
I'm trying to think what we have. We have several that will still be shown with the figures. God, I don't even know what all we have so far. We have some belt fed, our RPGs, obviously for the insurgents. M2
RPK. There you go. Crew serve.
Grenade launcher, by the way, you'll see. Actually, did I already show it? No, actually, the next figure we're going to do, Marpat camo, has a grenade launcher on the bottom, and our shells are actually separate. So
sweet.
You're going to have to be able to move the tube, and again, the stock is
awesome.
adjustable. Yeah, so
that's cool. Haven't seen that yet, right? Where you can open the tube and put in the 40 millimeter. It's pretty rad.
Yeah, and again, all this is our prototype. We'll see what the factory says. Hopefully, I mean, I think at this scale they should be able to do that. They can make magazines removed.
Yeah, and then James Lucas is asking this, but you already touched on like Helidope and Nerdzoic, right? You had kind of already touched.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah, Big Bad Toy. We haven't reached out to any of them yet, but that's the plan.
This is my baby. She's my baby. She's very lovey. Oh, Callie. Any chance, and this is Sir T-Baggins, any chance for a challenge coin?
Yeah, so
With exclusives? Yeah. That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
you're 100% what we're thinking. And again, we always appreciate this. We can't think of everything, but challenge coin, or the other thing is like a uniform swatch. So I'm trying to think. Actually, the hat I'm wearing, Eagles and Angels. This guy Tom, he was formerly part of Delta Force. He has this company where people donate their uniforms to him, and he'll put the uniform behind the flag. And I thought about reaching out to him if he ever has scraps, anything that he can't use that he toss away, that we could either put on the trading cards, or we could have like exclusive figures and have a chunk of it in there. Again, I haven't reached out to him yet. What's that?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. I haven't reached out to him yet, but if I mean, you ought to check out his company. Again, I'm always big on these people that are still serving others after they've left, and he donates a big chunk of the profit from his hats to organizations. And by the way, I'm sorry, I'm talked out. I've been talking all day with people at lunch and then here, and so I have half a voice left. But
Flack Happy, what's my opinion on what? Delta? Because I just gave it. Yeah, and then any plans in the future for a M2 caliber 50?
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of challenge coins. I like the weird ones too that are like, this one's like a wrench.
Yeah.
Like some of them are they're just freaking awesome. I love challenge coins. I have them all over my Joe room, all over my game room in my office. So yeah, big fan.
I've seen the bottle cap openers. Well, so Gavin and I talked about doing it two different ways: offering one coin just to everybody who we're doing a figure of, and have something specific for them, and then offering a different version or different variation. We kind of looked at different catchphrases. You try to think what's fitting for them. One of them is, the ones that get dirty, so maybe have that on there, or it sounds a bit cheesy at times, but we also think it's a toy line, so who cares?
Yeah. Will they work with your figures as well? Yeah, because you said you're modeling it pretty much around timber, right?
Yeah, I'm curious, by the way, what military dog do they have? Because I collect and we add also.
Probably order, right? Because they got order. So whatever. Just a Christian Kid says, I don't know if you guys touched on this topic yet, but will you guys make like older war themed stuff, Revolutionary, Civil, etc. later, right?
We hope, yeah.
Cool. Any plans for vehicles? You guys touched on JLTV, and Gavin wants to do Humvee
and a Blackhawk.
Blackhawk, again, Bradley.
Rad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Blackhawk, Bradley.
Again, I would love to see someone set up who could fit all those vehicles in their 1/12 scale. So if we're have a sustained business, we're going to end up doing 1/18 scale for some of the stuff, and we think, all right, 1/18 scale has about everything, but what has not been offered at that scale?
What you need to make a lame white Ford Fusion hybrid with government plates, so whenever you make a general character, you can put him in the back and then have some like asshole major driving him around, and he'd be like, look, it's military accurate, yay. No, don't do that.
Well, you think about the Toyota Hilux. How cool it would be to do a Toyota Hilux with a 50 cal in the back.
Oh yeah, or like a Dishka. Yeah, a Hilux with a Dishka on it. It just needs to be like white, with that stupid like
stripe. Yeah,
kind of brass colored and like doo-doo brown stripe that every Toyota Hilux in the Middle East has. Those freaking things. Yeah. Teague just said it. Yeah, Toyota Hilux. What about an AH1? The Viper. That's the post Super Cobra, right?
Yeah, that is. That's not what they used on Neptune Serpent, is it? Or I mean Neptune Spear? No. Okay.
Lilith wants a Chinook.
That would be huge.
That would be massive. Yeah, like a true 112 scale
Yeah.
shit hook would be gigantic. I was doing a live stream and the man was flying around in a Chinook while I was doing the live stream, and I was like, "Oh, hey everybody, look, here's the ma'am," and she's like in the back of a Chinook with all of her gear on, like, "Hi."
You know, we used to coyote hunt, or we've done hog hunting, and then I see people in these videos where they're actually from like a little bird, you know, hog hunting. You know, maybe we'll have to do something like that.
Cool. Comrade Bobcat, if you would kill for a 112 scale, well, it's not an M60 main battle tank, but
The Abrams?
the Ramen Toy they're putting out some serious vehicles. So, yeah, and
What?
those will go great with your line.
Well, yeah, the Abrams. That's what we thought. I think was it 21st Century? It did it at a 118 scale years ago.
Yeah,
think
and
they
it was
did.
a true 118 scale, and the turret, you could open the turret and it would give crew fire commands, and you could put everybody down in their positions. That Abrams was impressive. I had it for a while. It didn't scale with any of my Joe stuff, and I gave it away.
You know, I wonder if that's the one I have. I have one. I bought it used and never done anything with, but I'll have to look and see if it opens up.
Yeah, because you know how the turret sits like that. It kind of pulls open like that, and then it locks back together, and you can put everybody. You can put like your tank commander, your driver, your gunner, and your loader. You can put them all in there. If it's the same one, is it like this big? Just massive?
It's pretty big. It's 118
Yeah.
scale. I mean, it's tan. It's got the alpha, or it's got the upside down, not alpha.
Yeah. The V core, the 5 core.
Yeah.
Fifth core, whatever. Cool. All right, gentlemen, we've been going for a long ass time, and that was fun. That was a ton of info. Any parting thoughts? Anything you want to share before we beat it?
No, just thank you. Like I said, we're new to this, and at the same time, our focus is obviously doing what's right for the veterans, but we know who drives the community. It's us. It's toy collectors. It's people who you know are into it. So
Absolutely.
The veterans, people who support them, you know, may be into it for a figure or two, but we want to make sure we do it right for people who actually are going to collect them. So when we have the-
Nathanator. Sorry.
No, you're right. You're right. It's good. I need to stop talking sometime because it said my voice is doggone. But no, Gavin, what do you think?
Nope. Just thank you for letting us on here.
Thanks for coming. I'm glad to have you guys. I'm glad to help and be supportive of your line. Obviously, right, Ryan, you and I talk all the time about this stuff. And for anybody who's still here, yes, my figure is going to be in a t-shirt, and yes, it's going to be tattooed. So there you go.
Yeah, tattoo. That's something we got to figure out. We haven't been putting them on mock-ups, really just because we have to draw them out and it's got to be flat. when you do it.
Tampos,
So,
right?
there you go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Cutthroat's all in. Yeah, everybody's really all about it. So that's cool. Very, very cool. I'll tell you what, for a first time out of the gate, you guys got a lot of good impressions. So anybody who's still hanging out with us, if you have suggestions or anything like that, these guys are very open to suggestions.
Yeah.
Just message them on Instagram or wherever else, and they'll get back to you.
yeah, actually, if you go to info at Patriot Force USA, because Instagram, if they move it towards a hidden, I don't check that crap because we get so many in there. So
That's true. Yeah.
I apologize. If they move it to my general inbox, we'll check all your messages. But if they hide it, then we won't see it.
Sir Teabaggin says Chad's figure needs a chair and a little hiss or a vamp like Sarge with his. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming, and look forward to the Kickstarter soon. Everybody
Hopefully
follow
it's
these
July.
fine gentlemen on Instagram, and then you'll see that. You guys want to come back when the Kickstarter goes live?
Yeah. Hey, that'd be awesome. Appreciate it. So.
Cool. Awesome.
Again, probably late July. So we're going to be at Joe Fest, and then hopefully we can get I'm trying to think, the Kickstarter launch link at that time. Not launch link, but I mean the link, so you can go follow, and that way you know when it goes live.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. And James Lucas, I want to say thank you for gifting that channel membership, my friend. It definitely helps, and I'm always very humbled by the support. So, will Chad's figure have pants?
No
No. Oh, okay.
pants, but he's free.
I'm wearing shorts. And like I have something on. Everybody always loves to joke that I either have a Picard hairline or a rat tail, or I'm 40 minutes behind on the chat, or I'm not wearing anything from the waist down. You know, so
He'll have pants, but he's going commando.
that's a fact right there. That was always the thing. The man would too.
That's it.
Yep.
When you get older, you're more likely to do that.
I'm just saying, you know. Oh, and apparently a mullet.
Well,
Cool. All right, let's get out of here, gentlemen. Thank you so much, and I would love to hang out with you again once the Kickstarter goes live, and we'll pull it up and we'll talk all about it.
thank you. Hey, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
You know, we have something that we do around here on the way out the door. We have this time-honored tradition, and Gavin, I think you're going to sign us off, man.
Come on.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. We hope you like our company. Subscribe to It's Chad if you're not.
Yeah, and have an awesome day.